Hallelujah. Give him, hallelujah. Give him the highest praise. Hallelujah. Give him the highest praise. Hallelujah. Give me the highest praise. In the morning when I wake up, in the night when I wake up, I will lift up my voice to heaven and give you the highest praise. Hallelujah to my King. Hallelujah to my Father. Hallelujah to my Jesus. I bow before the throne when I look at all the wonder and I see all the creation, the beauty of the universe. You never, never change. You never, never lie. You never, never change. You never, never change. Good evening, I'm Alphonso Zean Soe of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. We are monitoring what is unfolding in Liberia, very unprecedented. Hopefully, we're going to be going inside Bomi County this early morning hour. The Liberal Progressive, Samson Branto, is here. Our man Mike Down is gradually monitoring what is unfolding in Bomi County. Stay tuned. Hopefully, the network do us a favor. And I'm Alphonso Zean Soe. We're going to be bringing you all of that here. Potential election violence is unfolding in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia.
Hey, come let's pray, Jehovah. Come let's worship Jehovah. It deserves the praise. Come let's praise Him. It deserves everything. Oh, the worshiping. Oh, He gave me life. I will praise His name. I'm here to praise my God. Oh, because He gave me life. Come celebrate, come jubilate, come to worship Him. He deserves the praise. Hallelujah, giving the higher praise.
But in the midst of that, we're going to be giving higher praise. In time like this, we're going to call on Almighty God. Okay, let's see here. Let us go to Bomi to lead this morning out from the West African state of the Republic of Liberia is Mr. Roberts of the local radio station there. Molish Roberts. Molish, good morning. Is it morning hour now?
No, not exactly. We have roughly 4 more minutes to 12, and at 12 in Liberia, it will be exactly in the morning.
Okay. Look, thank you so much, and thank you for helping us out here. A lot of information coming in ahead of this senatorial race. We are not even closer to the presidential race, but what is unfolding now is unprecedented. Tell us exactly your location, to where you are, and what is unfolding.
I'm in Liberia. Located in the western part of Liberia, in a county called Bomi. Specifically, I'm residing in the capital of the county, Tottenham, and is where I'm joining you from tonight.
Okay, good. It's good for us to set the stage for our listeners to know here. And I'm been monitoring our sister network TV, Spoon TV, to be doing an extraordinary job where we were hearing the reporter, James Flomo. And I guess all of you guys there, what's going on? What the issue of this trucking here? What's unfolding there? What's happening?
Well, like you rightly said, let me borrow from you. This is unprecedented. The first time in electoral history in our country to see a process of voter roll update be flooded with inflow of people trucking from one county to another in the name of replacement or transfer from one county to another, and it has been a serious trouble for residents of some of the counties that are greatly affected. Like, let me specifically talk about Bomi. There have been violence over the last few days since the process started on the 11th. There have been disruption at some of the centers because people being trucked from outside of the county for Mosoralo by candidates so that they will get vote, and people who have said in the county, those that are coming in, to allow them make decision for them, and then they leave and go back and they stay in the county, and they will not allow this. And so we've been seeing over the last few days some NTA buses, owned by government, coming into the county, by the government aspirant, one of the candidates of the CDC, in presence of Honorable Tyler. So he has been bringing in over 10 NTA buses to the county since the process started on the 11th. So he has been raising serious concern and alarm. As we speak this evening, there was a meeting held by the Civil Society and women groupings, and they are intending to stay sitting on tomorrow at the Pearl River Bridge, that is the bridge linking Bombing County and Mosorado County. But before tomorrow, we saw into the county of over 5 to 6 buses again, because the process will begin on tomorrow simultaneously across the country or across the county. So the KMTV journalists who are here attending workshop organized by NEC and the PEL, they also went on the scene to cover where they were being attacked by supporters of Mr. Tyler. So as we speak currently, there we are with the situation is overwhelming. And as we speak, the citizens, some of them are complaining because they are being disenfranchised. The process is a mobile process. The mobile team will spend 3 days at a particular center and move to another center for another 3 days. So the first phase ended yesterday. So they have to rest today. Today is movement day. And so tomorrow the process will continue. But there are big towns and villages have not been given the opportunity to register or to update their information on the FRR. There have been a problem all over the county here.
Okay, let me hold you there. My colleague Samson Branto is in California joining me here. But let's get this straight here. The FRR updates is under the supervision of the National Election Commission. Is that the case?
Quite correct.
So is it being currently supervised by the Elections Commission? What is those people? Is there any independent report to establish the identity of these people as the supporter of former Speaker Ellis Tyler, who is now trying to return to Capitol Hill? Is there any independent confirmation that there are those that are involved in that?
Well, as I speak to you, I'm a local journalist. I'm also working here, and that's we've been covering, we've been following, and there's no secret in this. You know, the NEC started this voter roll update with 3 processes. They talk about people who lost or damaged their previous voting cards from 2017, so that they will be able to update them in the VRU process. And they also talk about people who want to take transfer from one county to another. They will also get involved. And they talk about first-timer people who attain the age of 18 and above. Since 2017 up to present time, they will be given the opportunity to also participate in this coming election. But what we have observed multiple registration. The guys come from town with these guys, and they register and they move to another center. You know, it's like vote marketing. It's not even like it's vote marketing.
Yeah, because there are a couple of IDs being displayed on the social media. LPR don't usually buy into that. This is why we like to reach to people on the ground. So is it established that those voters here, because it's been reported on our official website here, are these guys from Morovia, and they get them to a bombing in order to augment the strength of Ellis Tyler to register? Is that the case?
There are more on a daily basis. You have the government vehicle, which the government said, I mean, you can't use government vehicle to run campaign, but we've been seeing the NTA buses, over 10 coming to bombing on a daily basis. And so they are taking them from Mosorado County, bringing them to Bombing County to register. You will not believe that the entire Mosorado County will be empty in the next few days.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit. So how is NEC, is anybody, I tried reaching the communication director, Mr. Flomo, at the National Elections Commission. Of course, this out of our time is not surprising. Even in the day, those people, they don't answer phone, they answer it as their will and pleasure. So what is NEC saying? Any officials on the ground in Tubman Bray addressing the situation?
Yeah, the local magistrate on the ground said the issue, this entire VRU process or the mass inflow of people are talking has overwhelmed them. And now there's nothing they can do about it, according to some of the officials we spoke with. But it's alarming, and there's a need that the NEC take an immediate step, because there have been alarm raised by the opposition collaborating political parties, other individual, other independent candidate in the election. They have been complaining and raising issues to the National Elections Commission, and there have been threats coming from all the corners that if NEC does not step in or take any action, I mean, to see this election going successfully is where we're heading. So I don't know where we're heading, but there have been complaints coming from all over, from other candidates in this election, and they have been complaining to the NEC. But up to present, the National Elections Commission have said nothing about this. All they said, I mean, it is not a law you can truck, but this number of trucking has overwhelmed them, especially when
it is it's ridiculous. Let me bring in the liberal progressive from California, James. Hold on there. Probably you get Samson Soe.
Yes.
Samson Soe, are you there?
Yes, I am.
I'm not getting your volume. Can you give your?
Yes, I am. My volume is fine.
Samson Soe, you gotta work on your volume. I'm not still getting you. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on 1 second here. Let me see here. Okay, let me see. Samson, are you getting me now?
Yeah, I am on. I can hear myself.
Okay, let me just hold on 1 second. Jim, hold on. So I'm going to go to my colleagues in Sacramento there. He has a question, and I'll be coming right back to you. Samson, there's a violent potential attack. A lot of video out there, the scenario with Darius DeLong, and I heard Representative Subu. I was speaking and all of that. Everybody trying to get a blame game at one another. What are we heading into as a country, as a nation?
Well, basically, the first thing I'm going to say is that we all have to kneel down and pray for our country, and because these kind of things don't bode well for all of us. And I'm not too sure where these things are coming from. But I would prefer you try to focus on this gentleman who was talking to you from Liberia for now, because I think his information is relevant in this discussion. And perhaps once he's done, then you and I can have a honest discussion.
Okay. Okay, let me come back to James. Not James. Robert. Robert, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still on the line.
Okay, so what did police authority? Was there any fight broke up by this early morning hour, as far as you are concerned?
Well, it was just this evening, a few minutes ago. Like I said, two journalists from Spoon TV, they were attacked while we were talking about the coming in of the NTA buses, and some of the buses arrived in Tubman Bray, and so they went there to
as a reporter,
and they went, as reporter, and they went live, and that's how the guys observed that they were going live, and they were attacked, and the security have to move in to put the situation under control and take them to the police station. But as we speak, they said they are okay, and their phones they were using, they have to retrieve them, because they initially took the phone from them, asking for the recalling, and they have to give their phone back. And so as we speak, that's the situation now. But they went there to verify exactly what the lawmaker was saying today on Spoon TV, that the MTA buses are being used to truck a huge number of people into bombing from Masorado County. You know, the National Elections Commission is the custodian of our peace in our country. So anything less than that, I mean, they will take the greater blame of this, because they have to protect our democracy. It's a very young democracy we have. Remember, we have a fragile peace. We're still trying to maintain and keep the peace we have in our country. And election matter all over the world, even of recent in some African countries, are not being easy. So I think if we go into the process, we should be able to, the National Elections Commission should be able to put some level of credibility ahead, and understand that they have a very task and a peace to maintain and protect in our country. But the way things are proceeding in this 2020 election ahead of us, especially from a voter roll update, where people only go there who lost their car and update their process, or those of you who turned 18, then it is turned to a normal registration and the mass influence and talking of people on a daily basis. I see problem. I heard it is not amicably handled before time.
Now, does the election commission has the capacity to handle that? This trucking here, we saw that unfolding in previous election. It seems to be going over the rooftop. I'm hearing reports coming from Grand Gita, other parts of the county, other parts of the country as well. And we are talking about county next to Morovia. If that is happening in bombing, the possibility of this spreading out throughout the 15 political subdivisions is most likely.
Yeah, like you rightly said, but it's happening in other counties, but not on the increase as compared to bombing that they ran next to Mosorano County. The guys,
wow.
They are taking the proximity of the county to Mosorano. They are taking advantage of that, but it is on an increase, and they bring the guys over there and they sleep in the morning. They take them to the various centers for registration. So they disenfranchise the residents of those communities because they are not able to get in the queue to go and do their process. At the end of the day, the guys will have to close up and they will have to sleep there to wait for the next day. And part of the citizens are crying that they are not going through the process. They are not being given chance to exercise their franchise. Come December 8, they will not be given chance, because if they are not included in this process, then it means people have to come from out to make decisions for them. You will not believe that the first day of deployment of the VRU staff, all the centers our guys were covering in the field, we could not see a single police officer. The second day, when the situation was tense and there was disruption to some of the centers, before we saw the presence of some police officer at some area, even the NTA buses that are being trucked into bombing with people coming from Maserado, they are being escorted with police officers. This is my frustration.
Hold on one second. Are you seeing the convoy, allegedly these buses leaving from Morovia to Bomi County? They are being escorted by the police convoy.
Honestly, I've been in the field since this process began. I've been in the field for the last 3-4 days following this entire VRU process. There have been complaints, there have been violence all over the place. There have been people who have been seriously injured in Grand Cape-Mount, right next door to Bomi County. There have been serious violence there, riot all over the place because of people choking people. And the National Elections Commission, like you said, they will have to step in and see, because there have been several calls now coming in and people who are dissatisfied. And the election matter in around the world is not an easy thing that for anybody to joke with and put self-aggrandizement ahead.
Yeah, and actually, I've been monitoring Spoon TV, and the host Senator Darius Dillon and the Spoon family, they were addressing that. And just before coming on air, while we were trying to work lines with you to get you to, we tried to get Deputy Police Director for the Public Affairs, Moses Carter, to address himself. But up to this time, fair to say, he has not responded. We tried reaching Mr. Henry Flomo, who is the communication director at the National Elections Commission. They are yet to explain. You are on the ground, Robert. Tell her, what does that suggest ahead of this consequential senatorial election? We are not even talking about the presidential election that is coming 2023, but the tension is just unprecedented. Hearing what we are hearing right now, does that it makes it generally said to be unsafe to go cover a story?
Honestly, even as I speak to you right now, when the situation was ongoing, where the 2 journalists were attacked, we could not even make our way there closer, but we're far monitoring the process, because this is an election process and people go about who supporting the candidates, and want to harm you. But like you rightly place the caution, if nothing is done by the National Elections Commission, we foresee lots of problems. We see trouble ahead of us, and I don't see a very successful election come December on the 8th of December in our country, but they just need to be stopped. The NDC must come to the table and speak to this situation that is ongoing and creating violence. I tell you, for tomorrow, if you speak to me hour like this, I will tell you exactly some of the problem now that occur in bombing, because tomorrow there are plans for citizens to stand up and in mass protest against people who have been trucked into the country tonight. So you have the civil society.
I have a question.
Yeah, okay, hold on 1 second. Let me go. Hold on 1 second. Let me go to my colleague, Samson. Are you there?
Yes, I have a question for the gentleman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. He will be here. You know, he's on the.
Okay. So we've been reading the election commission spokesperson have saying that nobody have complained to them, and so as far as they're concerned, they are not have any complaint from citizens of any of the trucking issues. So are you saying that they are quite aware of what is happening and yet not being able to respond?
Okay, let me go to Moses. Moses, are you there? You got your question? Robert.
Okay, I read a communication on the 11th of September.
Mm-hmm.
If this is what Heaven Flomo is saying, I read a communication on the 11th of September, dated the 11th of September, addressed and by the opposition collaborating political party, calling the National Elections Commission attention to these irregularities that are currently taking place in the election in this particular voter roll update. The first thing the National Elections Commission said, she will, after being mandated by the Supreme Court to clean up the voter roll update, and she said she did that. And the CPP is requesting how the process went on in the absence of representatives from other political parties or the collaborating political party, and they are not in the know. So they want the National Elections Commission to give them more detailed explanation. So if Mr. Frumo is saying that they are not being brought to your attention, then it's so sad for our democracy, because if you listen to radio, you listen all over, people are complaining. Even Senator Darius DeLong has raised this issue, and it has been all over the place. So here he said that he's not listening and he's not following this. I mean, it's so sad for our democracy. I think we need to stand up. Now is the time that we curtail what is happening, and we'll be able to speak to it, or else. And like I said, we are heading for trouble. I mean, it's no secret to her. So the way things are proceeding. Mm-hmm.
Now, talk to me here. Those that attack those journalists, allegedly supporters of Ellis Talot, what sort of, is there any sort of identity? Were they in uniform? How they, from your own view, you were there. What sort of description can you give those people?
The bus arrived before the party headquarters in Todman Bread. Normally, when they are taken to Todman Bread, where you have some of the centers, they are taken to his party headquarters. So while the journalists were there, they even want for people to know that they were present in our same vicinity while they were doing their live video. And I mean, I was following the video from the background, and after they were monitoring, and people told them that, oh, people over there recalling you they are going live, and that's how some people came around to attack them. And I can safely tell you that we are aware and we know all those that are here, and we know them exactly. So, I mean, it's no secret about this. What I would tell you is justified.
Can we say, are they seditions? Who are they? Or not necessarily sedition? Talor, he's one of those that formed the collaboration. So is it fair to say whatever that is happening in our national government is somehow, some way, a way hearing that police convoy giving an escort to one of the candidates, that is speaks volume?
Honestly, so I mean, he comes from the power that be, and I mean from the ruling establishment. So whether they are sedition or they are from the MPP or they from the LPDP, the party he comes from, Ellis Tyler, we can safely say, but they are all his supporters. So and they are the one doing this all over the place. You know.
Yeah, I know it's a little late now. So give a little bit a brief overview now. What is the situation in bombing this sort of hour? Police in the streets? There's some sort of kind return or what?
Yeah, all over the place you will see those who have been struck. I mean, from Monrovia. Let me not use the word Azoko, but disadvantaged youth. Those who have been trapped mostly are disadvantaged youth. And they get into the street in the night, they break bottles all in the street, black, and they are insulting, and they are smoking all over the place. You see them taking marijuana all in the street, and the police, they not put them under control, because you're talking about a group of men who are referred to as disadvantaged. You've been trapped just for $1,500 or $200. And imagine, so to get the kind of people under control is a difficult task. But they are all in the street. When you see them, even in daylight, you see that they're smoking all over the place. I mean, a lot of insult and all of things. I mean, breaking cultural norms in some of the towns and villages. I mean, it's so frustrating.
Is it a fair assertion to say that probably the police does not even have control, or the police there's no capacity? The police does not have the capacity to confront these guys. Is it fair to put it that way as well?
Let me digress a little bit to the COVID-19. The police were asked, including the AFL, to leave the barracks, get into the street to help. In terms of ensuring that we have strict adherence to the health protocols in the COVID-19. And afterward, today, the very AFL soldiers are complaining of not getting a dime from the government. So they are even planning to march, to stay a protest against it, because they need their money. Now, the health workers on the 16th will be having a sit-in action. You promised them hazard benefit. Up to now, they have not been given that. It says since last year, September, they wrote the government of Liberia, they entered into a memorandum for the government to address certain things, the National Health Workers Union of Liberia. Up to present, the government have not said anything about the health situation. So on the 16th of this month, they're going to have another stay-home action like they did before, and they were called back. But now they are going to stay home because in the memorandum of understanding, the government will have addressed certain things that they raised in the MOU, and up to present, government have said nothing about it. Since we are on WhatsApp, I was saying the communication done by the health workers, and I was saying the memorandum of understanding they enter into, and the press release they will give out of recent that they will have the sitting action on the 16th. Now, the police in this kind of process, election matter we see. Whenever there's an election issue in our country, when people are being deployed, because you have some sensitive materials that the NEC will be using, and you have to deploy the VRU staff with officers. But they are not deploying the VRU staff with officers because they said they don't have the capacity to cater to the security that on ground are in November County. So at the end result, you see the security stay away because the man can't go in the field all day or 2-3 weeks, and he's not sure of what he will take home at the end of the day. So the first day, there was no police officer. You see the very people they are talking from Monrovia, breaking into the center, destroying property of the NEC. That happened in Birmingham here. So they have to even bring in some police so that they will be able to control the situation. But the person is vulnerable.
Wow. So I don't know. This is just Tottenham brought within the proximity of the nation's capital, and to see what is unfolding ahead of such a consequential elections and what happens to the other urban parts of Liberia. From what you see, does NEC has the capacity to contain this? Is there security personnel to contain this process?
Like you asking about some of the counties that are not closer to the capital, like for Bapolo, that is next door to Bomi. I spoke to a correspondent from Bapolo who said the deployment was on the 10th for VRU staff. And the mobile team will stay to a center for 3 days. On the 3 days, which are yesterday, some of the staff reached to the particular center on day 3. So those who have been in our other town or community or those centers, they have been disenfranchised. Yeah, they have been disenfranchised because no transportation to get the VRU staff there. In Bapolo, it's a hard to reach area as well. So you deploy people for 3 days. There's a mobile team, and the mobile team can now reach to the people at the time the process started. And it's just for 2 weeks we're talking about. We are going to the process for 2 weeks. I mean, it's so sad.
Wow. All right. Well, I know it's very late here. What can you say to the rest of folks listening to you worldwide? You are really in the epic of this whole thing here. Are people going to sleep sound tonight or what? Do you know what's going to happen early morning hours? Is that the end of the process now or what?
I can assure you, for the look of things and what I've observed tonight and what citizens been saying, and with a press statement coming from the civil society and the women groups in the county on tomorrow, I see a different look of the entire process in bombing. I'm not saying about Oro County, but where I'm residing currently and covering the VRU process, I see a very different look.
When you say different look, what precisely what that different look could look like, possibly?
I'm seeing violence. I'm talking about violence. I'm talking about disruption of some of the centers, because they have said this, and there's their position statement. They don't want people being trucked into their county for registration. They are disenfranchised their citizens, so they are putting hot to that. So in an attempt where you have to resist that, then there will be violence. Because if you're trucking people and the bus is at Poor River, the boundary between Pommy and Masorado County, and you got the citizens there because they're where they said they will move tomorrow. And said, no,
to prevent vehicles from coming into a bombing county that could be carrying large number of people, possibly?
Yes, exactly. This is what they met in a meeting today, and they discussed, and tomorrow at 8:30 they will be giving their press release, and they will move on according to what they said. I spoke to the head of the civil society, I spoke to the head of the women group, and this is what they are saying. And not only there, you go all over, you got citizens from other towns. They will be calling on the radio saying the same thing, that they will not allow people into their towns.
And just to add up to your tune, that also gave, we hope that there's nothing like a violence in any way to break out there in Liberia, because I listened to Sandro Johnson, who said he was ordering his men to move in to also rescue James Flomot of our sister network, Spoon TV, and other folks. So it seems to me that everybody have their own follower or have their own group. Sandro Johnson, he's a godfather of a bombing area there. You have Edwin Mervyn Snow, who is also contesting, was very outraged when he spoke on Spoon TV here. There seems to be mere anarchy is loosing upon bombing county.
Honestly, and I think we continue to place there on the shoulder of the NEC. She needs to do something seriously about this, because this is going out of hand, and to control this, where it is open, it will give some serious problem. It will hinder the election for December 8th. So now that you have a smell of some of these things coming up, you need to put an end to it and see how best they can move forward. But it's a serious problem. What's going to happen? People going to mobilize their supporters. Candidates going to mobilize their supporters to get in the field, to disrupt centers, to stop people from coming in, and that's going to happen over the next few days. And honestly, that's going to happen. You know, that's really going to happen. Besides the citizen, like you said, and these, the candidates you're talking about, those candidates going to mobilize their people. And they're going to mobilize their people.
I imagine what is unfolding in bombing here. What is the signal you're going to be sending to all our counties that are densely populated, vote-rich county? You're talking about Bond County, you're talking about Nimba County. Those are hard contentious area, and bombing because what his name? In Alice Tyler from the ruling establishment, you have Evan Melvin Snow, Sandro Johnsons, all of those people, they are all used to be together. And when we go to Grand Bassa area, there you have Western Finley from the ruling establishment, and you have Nyombli Kanga Lawrence of the major political party. And guess signal from bombing county is echoing in those counties as well, and they might be taking some preventive measures.
Honestly, I mean, what is unfolding here in bombing, others have taken precaution in their counties, and they are saying what is happening in bombing cannot happen in other counties. They cannot allow mass trucking of people or inflow of people going to their county to make decisions for them. I think it was necessary since 2005, not 2011. We had an experience of people trucking in people 2017 of the same, and we in 2020, and this is happening. I think it was necessary that the National Elections Commission kept the coming to this 2020 election.
What the older folks in Bombay,
2023.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Samson, are you there?
Yes. I was wondering what the elders in the county, what are they saying? What are some of the things that are coming from them? Are they somehow trying to find out from early tellers who is now people are pointing finger to as being someone responsible for trucking people? Are they talking to them? Because these are elders of the county. They need to say something.
Look, Samson told. Let me come in here this a little bit. This is not a total affair. Don't do this here. We are talking. This is
so we're talking about violence. You can't just leave it up to the government. You got people who are the others in the country. They're all going to be affected. And I need to find out from the young man what the others are saying.
On many occasions have been threatening of their job, and so you will find out that because of job security, most of them will be taken side, and they will not have to speak against the power that be or the establishment they are working for. So at the end analysis, you will see them not taking part or saying things like you asking why are they not getting involved. They cannot get involved because of job security, and I must say that for say because most of them who have reported to us and complained to us, they have been threatened on a daily basis of their job. So you find out that they will want to support the candidate of the power that be or the ruling establishment. Even if they want to support another candidate, they will have to do that. I mean, out of beyond closed door. Yeah, I mean,
it is sad to see where we are today, and this is why politicians, some of them made some careless statements, even from the vice president, somebody that I've admired because of Sky, and to say you either for us, you're not again. Now, all of this here, then people are going to put all of this here. I know you've been on your feet here. Before you let you go, there are a lot of diasporans, people listening to you. What is the message? How should I sleep sound tonight?
Well, I mean that's a hypothetical question to answer, but from my interview. From the conversation with me, it suggests to you that our democracy is being tampered with, and the National Elections Commission will have to be very careful in handling this process because, like I said, the NEC is the custodian of our peace, so she needs to do everything possible to ensuring that the election is free, fair, and void of politics or interfering, and so that if it allow the people in their districts or counties to make decisions that will impact their lives, and this is what everyone is calling for, because if those measures are not put in place by the National Elections Commission, and I mean, like we said, others are also saying there will be trouble ahead of us if we are not careful with this election. So the NEC will have to remove herself, void of politics and self-aggrandizement, and look at the country first, and not putting self-interest or individual interest, but putting Liberia first, looking forward to where we came from as a country and people. There's a need that we maintain the peace we now enjoy, and denouncing violence from our country, especially when it comes to election issue. So, I mean, you will have to sleep, but this is the reality.
Sleep with one eye. Sleep with one eye open. Yeah, okay, quickly here. Yeah, you in bombing here, bombing Cape Mount here. We also got a report here about people being violence and people got wounded. Bombing Cape Mount, they are within the proximity of neighboring Sierra Leone. As far as you are concerned, have you seen anybody, none of our Liberians, also been infiltrated into that system so far? You know of?
I've got a very good relationship with people from Grand Cape Mount. I'm a journalist that is widely known in the western part of Liberia. You got 3 counties. You got Bapolu and Cape Mount. So many a time we follow development or politics in Bapolu and Cape Mount as well. There has always also been notified and being reported of people crossing over from neighboring Sierra Leone to come into Liberia to also register and get involved in the process. I think you saw on the footage on social media, there was a serious violence, led to people being injured or recent in Grand Kitmore County. So it's a serious issue in the region. Yes, I will agree on this. There have been reports of foreigners getting involved into our election process. Yeah, in the country, it have been reported on many occasions. So I mean, it's now a doubt. It's not something to rule out. So people cross over from Sierra Leone, come to Liberia, and sometimes in election, people cross from Liberia, they go to Sierra Leone too, and they register there. So I mean, it's vice versa. That's what happens. Yeah.
Okay. All right, my man. It's been a very hectic day. Thank you so much for bringing all of these happenings on the spot from inside Central Liberia. That is in Bomi County, our man Robert. Thank you so much. Keep safe, and we'll keep following the development in order to give it more proportionality and keep it balanced. Again, we'll try to reach out early morning to Director Moses Carter, Director Heron Flomo of the National Elections Commission to get their versions of the story. Thank you so much, and please keep safe and do everything possible to keep yourself in a safe zone.
You're welcome. Let me say thanks to you and the entire team and to our people there in the diaspora who've been following this conversation back home from Liberia. So let me thank you all. I'm waiting always so that we can be able to inform our people as it relates to issues unfolding in the election in our country.
All right. Thank you so much. Keep safe. And I'm about to slap you just and say, no, man, you have a job to do so that you're a reporter. Hopefully they don't. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Okay, something to Aida.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. I see you in a press jacket. Are you prepared to go to listen to what this guy? I saw you pulling your jacket and you already fear grab you. You are planning to go cover the elections. Are you still going or what? I see you pulling your jacket.
Well, the election.
You're already afraid. The way I'm looking at you,
No, I'm not. Far from it. I'm going to go cover the election. Mr. Soe, I was in Liberia. I covered the
inauguration. This is a contentious election. So don't even go with inauguration. You something to, can you stand that tension Jane Flomo, Goody Flomo went through today?
Mr. Soe, I am from Tour Town. There's no tension that I cannot stand. Let me let you know. But on a very serious note, this is a very serious issue. If those who are leading us, if they cannot put this thing under control, it's going to affect the entire country. Now, this might be reported from Bomi, but I'm sure similar story is coming from Grand Gide. Similar story is coming from other places. Now, the violent aspect of this is a worrisome thing for all of us. We cannot afford this election, even here in the diaspora. The community election, and you've been in one of those, even though there was no violence, but you know how contentious that the election can be. And how much more about Liberia, where people have nothing to offer except they want government position. So they will do everything to get government position.
So what is amazing based on this report, and I'm anxious to give Director Moses Carter the benefit of the doubt, and this is the second thing here, when you call them, they don't speak to you, they don't prefer to be canceled. But we are hearing that the police, I heard that on Spoon FM, that even Representative Melvin Snow confirmed that it's been validated by this reporter that there was a police escort taking these buses, this convoy in the process. That is amazing, unprecedented.
Yes, and the concern is, first of all, who's giving that kind of order to have police escorting the convoys that are going to bombing? And yes, the interesting thing the young man said, he said the people are now, the bombing people, they voted themselves. they feel that they're being disenchanted. Their voting problem for them is going to be serious. In fact, they're planning to go and block other people from coming into the county to register. Now, how do they know what are other people that are going to be coming? What are their legitimate citizens of that county to come and register? But however, if you have the system being hijacked by a group of people, then it's not fair. It's not fair. And this is what I'm going to say. We have to be careful. It just takes one. You go and kill one person who has reality, they're going to come after. Now, let me jump onto the other side. The director of ESP or whatever they call them, now on record of threatening anybody who would try to block or try to come and harm the president or whatever, instead of going through the process. Yes, it is their job to protect the president, but I don't think it's his job to come out in public and say, if you do this, or if any of these things, Liberian will be harmed and will take action that perhaps will be so dreadful to those who might take action against the president. It is history. He has to say something, but to be that much threatening to the entire citizenry, I think that we're pushing this thing. They got to be careful. They have to be very careful. I remember back in the 80s when this whole process started, it was people like Chet Chipo went on air and said, you kill one person, that person have reality. They're not going to forget it. They're going to come back. Liberia were intertwined. You can't continue to threaten violence. Election is very serious business. And if the government and those who are supposed to be big boys in the room cannot take handle of this thing and they get out of hand, we're going to have serious issues. And so, all of the peace that we've been crying for.
We're going to open the line here for your participation to what you think about your own views and opinions about what we can say. Views and opinions expressed on the Liberia Public Radio does not in any way, form, or shape represent the view of the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio. We're just here to facilitate, and this is why we always like to keep the news proportional, to hear from both sides. We do not empathize with a story. We like to go to the bottom line and get what the facts are. We hope that Director Moses Kato and Director Heron Flomo of the National Elections Commission will also give us the opportunity to get their versions of the story. Samson Toh, is there a probability that we're going to see more funds opening out relative with this whole trucking system here? It is Bomi County. Before the day comes to an end, who knows, another county going to pop out. And I would not be surprised, based on what we are hearing coming from Bomi County here, this is going to echo across the 15 political subdivisions in Liberia.
Well, yes, I hope the voice of the violent, but I think the citizens themselves, they need to resist this, because this is ridiculous. And you can only do these kinds of stuff if you have nothing to offer. But if you, for example, Mr. Soe, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you've been a leader before, a leader of a community. And if the so-called red hat from Philadelphia, if they are not started where they came up with in private, and I want
to. You are blessed, because I almost like them up here in my own
state. Exactly.
I let us put that, because some of them were being in detention here. They
exactly.
That's a rebellion.
That's my point.
But let's put that aside here. This is more or less a national that has the propensity to degenerate our country. Elections related matters in Africa, then even here, it's a very serious problem. And if you listen to Sandra Johnson, this event, we know Sandra Johnson's, all of these people, all of us directly, indirectly, they participated into the war. And you heard them saying that if they try anything, it's going to be, I don't want to use the word I use on his own network here, and that he was sending his men. He's a lawmaker. No. And normally in these cases like this, it is the national government, police should intervene. But it seems the people no longer have confidence in the authority themselves, who's supposed to be in charge. As we are hearing, they are now providing escort to a particular candidate. We saw this unfolding with Darius Delont and that of Sibu here. Let me just play this here. I tried to find the Dylan version. I didn't get it, but let's get the sound by this afternoon from the CDC authority. The chairman of the CDC, Moluba Molu, was addressing himself to the scenario. The coin is being flipped over, is being thrown at the kitchen sink, is being thrown as Dara Dillon. And let's see. We try to get these guys to, but they don't like to come. I don't know. Probably we will see. But let's get this. Let's just hear this a little bit, and we're going to open the lines for our viewers to participate in the conversation. Stay tuned. I'm Alphonso Zean Soe and Samson Brown too.
First time photo for the Dylan quiz. With that our small moon yo.
Yeah. And you know something? We have not even entered the campaign period. We're not even announced campaign committee yet. If I see is not campaigning, it's not campaign time. It is only the candidate doing small visitation. So if you are already under pressure to the extent that you want to start killing people, when the mighty party announces a campaign committee, because the man will be the campaign chairman in this will sustain. So what you will do? Knows, so he has resorted to violence and lawlessness, hoping that we'll respond to him to cause the cancellation of election in Monserrato. Don't take the bait. Remember 2014, the same strategy was attempted by Mr. Robert Salih. Remember? In the Raditown area. BSP, right? The same formula that is now being used by the law because he knew he was losing big time. So they had a pickup loaded with rags. Same thing, loaded with rags. They almost slashed some of our policies' neck open. Kalasco, Young, Princeton. I was almost killed in PHP. I escaped by God's grace alone. But our partisans again exercise maximum restraint, tolerance. This time around, like 2014, do not respond. Nothing justifies violence. Always stay away from places where he's going to be. Don't attend his rallies if you don't feel like going there. If you feel it's the wrong place to be, don't go there. You don't have to be in the wrong place because you get caught up. Do not be provoked by anybody from the opposition. Do not be part of those Delon stone-throwing gangs. Nothing justifies violence. Anybody throw stone at you, run from them. Anybody slap your right ear, turn the left. Because CDC way of life is peace, respecting the rule of law, and being tolerant to the views of others and their freedom to assemble anywhere of their choosing. Let's keep it that way. Whatever he has announced himself to be, let the rule of law deal with that. We have a government in place. What I will do is let up the government. As for seditions, do not retaliate when there's violence meted against you. Don't respond. Don't throw stone. That is not the CDC way. We did not win political power by throwing stones. No way. We won by respecting the rule of law, led by a great nationalist, a great patriot that has always been peaceful. Doing what he was peace ambassador in Ambassador George Weah. Even in opposition, he was peace. Except Madam see primaries. More delegates convention must be peaceful.
Okay, Samson, are you there?
I am.
Okay, do not throw stone, do not be the Darius Dillon. Let me just be quickly to point out here too, it was a reckless statement on the part of Senator Dell. You see, this is what I always say, the intolerance on the part of our politicians, quick to react, quick to burst into flame, can also kill their good argument. Moluba Molu is, on the other hand, is trying to flip the table around to picture Darius Dillon because of Darius Dillon's own words, and also fair to mention, he came out and I think he has regretted that his statements as to whatever you're going to be doing to the president of the Republic of Liberia, that was ridiculous statement on his part. And it was also whoever, we hope. And the only saddest thing is that these things happen and we do not get a conclusive aspect of it in terms of investigations, and people should be held responsible. Do you believe in that talk of Chairman Moluba Molu? We do not throw stone. We are not stone. Don't be Senator Dillon.
Moluba Molu saying to sedition, do not throw stone. We do not. It's like telling Samson to don't eat cassava leaf. Please. It's laughable. Moluba Molu is not. I don't even take him serious when he make the kind of statement, because that's CDC hallmark. That's how CDC are banned, and this is who CDC are throwing stone. So please don't do. If Moluba Molu wanted people to believe in, at least you will come up with some serious issue and serious discussion. You know why Moluba Molu is saying this? Quite recently, the United States government has somebody on their watch list from CDC government. Okay, former passport director. CDC, the United States is watching sedition clearly, and they are all on their P and Qs. So for Moluba Molu to come out here, that's not what we do. Then it's laughable. Then he's not taking it serious. Now, I don't believe in violence either, but we have to be very careful, Mr. Soe. If you build something, now once again, let me just say that I'm an engineer. So if you construct a building, if you construct anything that you expect to put live load on, or even dead load, if the foundation is not built properly, it's not going to stand. If anything, if it's built, anything, even your own life, if it has no true structure, only lies, it's not going to stand. Ellen and her people came in after the war. People were expecting these people to give us structure. Because of the lack of political structure in Liberia, we're having these things going on. These people that trucking people and all, they are educated people. They are not stupid. They know what they're doing. But because these things have no consequence, even if you do wrong, no consequence. We saw people, they came in and come up with a code of conduct. And they violated the code of conduct left and right. No consequence. Nobody was being punished. We saw the government coming up with certain rule or how to curtail corruption. Who were being punished? Nobody. Go back into the so-called, I wish I don't believe it happened, but they have record. The money, who's been punished? Nobody. Look at Grandida's situation. Where these young Grandians took upon themselves and they say, we don't want certain people in our county because this person insulting the president. Who are you? This is Republic of Liberia, not Republic of Granjida. What come out of it? Nothing. You have the Nima County situation from the opposition. Look at the amount of violence that spilled over from Nima issue. What have come out of it? Nothing. And you expect these young Liberians in Liberia to respect the rule when the older folks, those who established the rule, they don't even respect it. And you want these young people to follow that? I found that very difficult to see. So we hoping all we can do, Mr. Soe, is continue to pray, because God has power than any other person, and only God that can save us.
Only God, your government can save you.
Excuse me?
Your government can save you.
Dr. Who?
Your government, the government of Liberia can.
The government of Liberia at this time, I don't see that they're not promoting violence.
Are they losing control of?
I think so.
Group? Are they losing grip here? Who is really supposed to be in charge is not in charge, because I listened to Sano Johnson. I listened to what his name said, Melvin Snow, who is also a lawmaker. At one time, we're in a honeymoon with the ruling establishment, but here we are, and he sounded very painful here this evening here. Let me pick up with a first call here. This is the guy who I likes to talk to here, and I'm going to be bringing Pakwamita. Good evening and welcome. You run away from us now, but good. The election is around. I'm going to be having you here most of the time. Good evening, Pap. How are you?
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you? Look,
thank you.
I'm quite sure you're monitoring what is unfolding in Liberia on all of the social media, print, and electronic media. You being with government, have you seen this sort of stuff before? And how can we address this?
Yes, it do happen in some other country, but every country that these kind of things took place has a propensity of bringing the entire system down. Liberia is no exception.
Mm-hmm.
Liberia is a failing state. Failing state, there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of examples.
Mm-hmm.
When the rule of law has not been enforced,
mm-hmm.
and when the families go to bed worrying what they're going to eat in the morning, or what they will give it to children before they go to school, when people are working with no pay, and people
mm-hmm.
expect any improvement in their life year in, year out, that is a sign of the failing state. And I also said to you that democracy is not limited to voting.
Mm-hmm.
Democracy, voting is part of it, it's just a portion of it. Democracy to enable people to determine their own destiny. And that includes for families of six to be able to afford to put food on the table, for people to be able to have access to health care, not just the health care, but quality health care.
Mm-hmm.
But for people of that nation to be able to have access to quality education. Because education is not, every individual should have access to education.
Okay, Mr. Pakwami, hold on 1 second. Please, I want you to stay with us. I have other folks here, but let me just ask you before I go to this here. There are some key points you really try pointing out here. Are these principles or some of these basics of democracy, in your view, are they being honored presently?
No. This is why Liberia, I don't pretend or beat around. I mentioned to you that it's a failing state.
Mm-hmm.
If there's nothing is done to curtail within the coming month or year, definitely is going to fit within our status.
Okay, hold on.
What are some of the things you want to
status? Let me go to this caller here.
So can you just ask him what are some of the things that you have in mind?
What's your name and where you calling from?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you today?
Good. How are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Canada. How are you, sir?
Okay, yeah, if you can speak a little bit louder for my audience to get you, that would be good.
Sorry, I'm calling from Canada.
Okay, all right. Thank you for coming on, for being part of this program here. This is what we love doing. We don't love to see the violent aspect to kick in, but we would like to always discuss national issues. What are your concerns ahead of this 2020 senatorial elections, and considering what is unfolding right now?
Well, thanks so much. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm not a supporter of any political party in Liberia now. One, I was raised in Liberia. I grew up in Ghana before coming to Canada. Now, this is my issue. My issue here, I think the CDC government is stirring a lot of fear in people. What I say is, well, I may say, in my opinion, I may say, comment was reckless because he allowed emotion,
right,
making say things that he shouldn't have said.
Mm-hmm.
But then let's go to the behavior management part of it. What triggered the behavior? There was something that triggered the behavior that made the security react that way. And then what's what parliament? Now let's go to the pattern of behavior. Every time there is an issue, a program going with CDC, it always goes smoothly, no problem. But why is it when other people having their own, it's always a problem? And people don't want to see it's a problem, and it's just so sad. Like hearing people, the EPL will shoot at people and this and that. Well, you don't de-escalate issue by using violence. You need to de-escalate by, in fact, using confrontation with people. So what you're saying, pal, I think the best way to move forward, the president needs to speak, because this is not helping Liberia in any way.
Mm-hmm. So, the president needs to speak, and that's a very crucial thing all of us we are frowned on. So what is the point of these people who's supposed to be executing, who's supposed to be in charge? Or it says, can we make a judgment to say, okay, these people are supposed to be there, but maybe there's some sort of invincible hand that consistently intervene in the process for which they are not doing their job. So what's going on?
Well, if you look at the active part of Liberia, you said something. So two something pretty good. Now, I see everyone.
Yeah, caller, hold on. Somebody on the line. Just hold on. They will bring you in. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead from Canada, buddy.
Yeah. I see everyone is protecting a job. They don't care about how you feel or how the kid behind you feel. They drive with a nice cars. Their family doing good. So no one cares. The rules of law is not being respected. The police have to do what they have to do to survive. So if the pattern of behavior is there, who do you protect? So the only way this can be stopped, the president needs to speak before you get into a serious problem with international people, because they're watching it. He will not stay in office forever. He will come out. He will go out somewhere. Or maybe a new government will come in place. They will do the same to you. And that's not the kind of Liberia we want. Violence is not acceptable in Liberia for now.
Okay. Is that your final word? What's your recommendations? We are critique. We spoke out on some of the things. What would be your final word in finding remedy to where we are now?
My final word is the CDC party needs to start behaving. The libraries belong to everybody. And the law enforcement officers that are in charge should start serving the people, because everyone have rights. Don't just serve one person. That's so wrong. Thanks so much, sir.
All right. Thank you. Again, views expressed here. Pakwami, please stay with me. Let me go to this number here, 612 number 316. A caller, Ty. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Terry calling from Minnesota.
All right, Terry. Ty. Good evening. Yeah, we are again.
Yeah. You said what? I
said, yeah, we are again.
Oh, yeah, we are again. Liberia case. Yeah, Mr. So I think that the problem right now shows that the 2023 elections or what will be a serious problem. I think the major thing we're supposed to be thinking about is 2023, because if the present leadership is so desperate for power to the extent of destabilizing the entire country, even though the economy is having problems. I mean, with all the way the economy is having problems, they are willing to distort, people's lives just to get this election, which is just for the senatorial bid. Then ask yourself what is going to happen for the next re-election of, let's say, the next election for the country. What is really going to happen? Because like I saw on Facebook, I saw one person having 3 different voter ID cards, carrying 3 different names. So it tells you that probably CDC strategy that they are using, that they are carrying on, saying on Facebook that they are sure they're going to win the law. It means that the strategy that they are using is to make sure to manipulate to manipulate the voter card, where one person will carry 3 different voter cards and put 3 different polling precincts. And with that, if they apply that strategy, there will be a serious problem. Trucking people from Monrovia to Bomi County and all of that. That is how all these guys you see, all these senators, these representatives, that is how they have been winning the election. They have been trucking people. When I was in Liberia, guys emerged to be senators, and most of them emerged to be representatives. This is not a street.
I want to agree with you. This seems to be a normal phenomenon of these guys. It's just like with the social media, people are significantly involved, and people began to mic this here. Okay, the line is bossing here. So what could be your recommendation to speak to national government or those in the authority? How can we fix it?
Yeah, I think that my recommendation will be that they need to put in laws that will restrict trucking people from one place to another. Because as it stands, there is no protection to that particular thing. So you cannot fight it. You cannot say, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. The only thing I see is that the government needs to put security, you need to put the security at work. And I want to believe because they are involved, the security seems to be very weak.
Okay, thank you, my man. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your contributions. Let's keep it to the point so that we give everybody the opportunity. Yes, 605 number 9452. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. So. Mr. So, my name is Ian Gavley. I join you from Sioux Falls, South Dakota this evening.
Okay, thank you for being here. What's your take?
Yeah, thank you. I want to appreciate you for the deliberation of the show and to the whole part there, Pato, for his contribution as well. I want to say that when you get at the point of your leadership journey in the stage of transition, there are two things you must be able to understand. You must be able to know your purpose. You must be able to know your potential and your feasibility of where you are as a leader. Giving reference to what is happening to a nation like right now, is many of our leaders fail to understand their roles and responsibility of what they need to do. Right, Liberia is trending the way it's trending because people see that one group opposing power, another person must feel the different side. We can no longer fight for the differences we are right now. The Democrats who fight for Liberia or what we enjoy in other war is not what our people are enjoying. You understand? You can have a democracy that keep affecting the life of the people negatively. You understand? And when people speak at the end of the day, they get back at you. And I want to speak to my fellow young people, right? We can no longer be a scoop to these politicians, right? We need to make ourselves relevant, and our relevance will come by the decision we make. So our emotions as a whole matters in this process. The statement that Dallon made, I think he's a leader. I know a sure that they don't come back to apologize to the public of what he made that decision, because I think he reached a place where he had to cap it up a little bit, but he must learn to understand that emotions also play, your EQ and IQ.
Exactly.
Is something that a leader needs to observe as well. So moving forward, I want to say that if we must move past a nation, the laws are on the book when be completely implemented, not because you are in a position or whatever. Once you go against the law, you must fear the justice. That's what that's what democracy is for. It's not there for sugarcoating for one side. It's for everybody to see the democracy. That's why it is. For that was established. But in our nation like Europe, it's a different thing.
Okay, quickly here, what's your recommendation to have it fixed?
Yeah, my recommendation yet is that I think the government must be able to know that they are not in the place for just the CDC. They are there for the people of Liberia. They must serve the people of Liberia. And the young people of Liberia, you must be able to know that you have a part to play. You must maintain your relevance in who you are. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's go to here before I go to Pakwame. I have two callers here. 60. Oh wow. Okay, let me go to this other number here. This number here, 608 number. Is that a number that just came in? Yeah.
No. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. 608.
Okay, 608-771094. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from? From there, I'll go to 267 number before I come to.
My name is Victor Patakori, and I just want to say thank you to you guys for standing up for our country, because let me tell you, in times like these, it takes real men and women that love their country to stand up, because the temptation is there. You understand what I'm saying? They're calling people here and there, telling them, no, we will give you this job, just do this for us. So it takes men and women to stand up and say, you know what? No, my country is bigger than any individual. Let me tell you something, sir. What we're going through today is planned. It's God's way of punishing Liberians. We have been so ungrateful to God. You understand what I'm saying? We kill good people and we reward bad people. You understand what I'm saying? You know what Sierra Leone is moving forward? Because they punish their bad people, the evildoers, the perpetrator of the war. They punish them. But in Liberia, we hail them. We call them daddy. We call them pap. You understand what I'm saying? So God is using George Weah to punish us. And in the process, he will expose George Weah to the Liberian people. Let me tell you something. George Weah has been, it's serious. George Weah has been doing this for a long time. They have been doing it to Lone Star players, to our Liberian women. And when they speak up, because we have so much love for George Weah, I'm guilty of the fight. We'll say, move for him and you see, move for him, you're useless. You understand what I'm saying? So he's been doing this thing undercover. So God said, you know what? I will give this guy the highest office in the land and disgrace him, and in the process, punish the Liberian people. Let me tell you something. This George Weah administration will bring Liberians together. Seditious, like-minded seditious, smart seditious will join hands with people that love that country, and we will stand together. And George Weah will lead that country, and that country will be normal. Look, that country will be one of the best in the world.
So let me ask you here. Hold on one second. Let ask you here. We are not roller skating here. We hold people accountable of their words. Are you saying,
yes,
can we come to a full conclusion that all of what is unfolding now, we can dash all onto President Weah?
No, sir. I just told you from the onset that we heal bad people and we hate good people. People like Eli Johnson Sirleaf that destroy our country. We made her president. Just said that to our people. We say, you kill my mind, you kill my power, we'll vote for you. So this is God's way of punishing us. Everything cannot be put on George Weah, but God is using George Weah to be a punishment to the Liberian people. Because let me tell you something, this is the worst administration we'll ever hear in the history of Liberia. I am not going to lie to you. There's no law and order in Liberia. If you don't go by the rules and regulations of the CDC, they will kill you or they will come after you, they will hurt you. You cannot speak your mind.
Okay, quickly, before I go to my next caller here, and you can make your recommendation. Is it too late? Don't you think they can't recover? Is it too late?
Yeah, it's too late because we are came for a purpose to punish Liberians. And in the process, in punishing us, God will bring us together in the end to save our country.
Do you have a recommendation for him to the president?
The recommendation for me is for him to just step down. If he really loves Liberia, the 14th jersey he wore and put his hands up and sang the national anthem to play for our country. If he loves Liberia, he knows he cannot make it. Let him step down for God's sake.
Okay,
save Liberia.
All right.
Yes,
we
thank you, sir.
Okay, we provide the platform to have critical discussion, but whatever expressed on this network does not in any form shall represent the views of the management and staff of the Liberia Public Radio. 267 number before I go to Pap Kwame. 267-5983. Are you there?
Yeah. How you doing, Lodi?
Okay. Yeah. How are you? Quickly, you heard the last caller here that was very vehement to say the president should step down. Is that the solution?
Before I answer that question, I know you understand Gil well.
No,
I don't. You in our studio.
No, I don't. I don't want to deceive you, and then you waste your breath, and then I tell you say.
I understand you. Kwame Zoto Ade. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
But I agree with that guy. God is vexed with us, and that people don't realize that. Go ahead.
Let me give my parable. Oh no, global never yasu in never and yes, I mean because so and yeah never because of global back at my yard about too much, so I can't get no man, go. Gain to appeal, my good. Let me come back in English.
That's true.
I think something understood what I said. George Weah is a punishment to the Republic of Liberia. When I got myself on social media, 2018 May, on Sekou Kenneth show, I said, and I'm putting myself though, that George Weah would be one-time president of the Republic of Liberia. And Sekou asked me why. I said, Sekou, let me tell you, they did not control 24 national players. You think you will control the nation? And you know, sometimes when Prince Johnson is saying something, people overlooking it say, oh, Prince Johnson are warlord, Prince Johnson are this. Prince Johnson said, and I'm quoting from Prince Johnson, when George Weah becomes president of the nation, there will be a fight. There will be a lot of things in Liberia. And he said it, people overlooking. Look, Alphonso, look at what he said today.
Oh my goodness.
George Weah would not say nothing on what's going on in Liberia. He has become mute. He muted himself. Like how will we come on your show when other people are talking, we mute ourselves. If the president comes out to say anything, Loli, if he comes out to say anything, I don't want to say that one. But look
Yeah,
at what
don't say it, don't say it when you're too bad. Don't say it, please.
Look at what they did to DeLon yesterday. Is that in the great United States of America, that person should have been in jail by this time. But instead, arresting sedition, they arrested the law supporter and they put them in jail. And the representative from District 16 went to the police headquarters, pay money not to release those guys. Is that pure justice? Well, one of my brothers said other people are listening.
Are you willing to frown on the DeLon's? Let me ask you this question here quickly before. Yeah, go ahead quickly before other callers come here. But let me just ask you too.
Because the integrity of we, the Liberian and Liberia as a whole.
So yeah,
it's gone.
Okay, quickly, let me ask you too. I don't know your political identity. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm an open guy. What's about the statement that was also made by DeLon? In as much something happened, and this is what I'm not a friend, and I kind of found it very, very much difficult because so we continue to give a justification. But I'm happy that DeLon came back to also explain himself. That you know, he has apologized. Do you think he went over the step?
Let me tell you, if there are other states like where they have stand your ground, if there are other states that have what they call stand,
but that is not there now, so it's not applicable to my question right now. We now have a stand your ground law in Liberia.
I would say this: they don't work frustrated. So every human there is
is that a good excuse?
Human, there is he has come out to apologize and say, let me retract some of the statements that I made against the president.
But
it was wrong.
It was wrong, right?
It was wrong.
Okay, good.
Yes,
all right.
It was wrong.
And that's what I want us to do. We must call a space, and so we must know. Okay. All right. I'm going to be bringing Kwame in this place here. The call still coming here. Pa Joyce still on with me. Let me bring in this number here, 212 number 2083, and then I'm going to go to Mr. George and Kwame. Yeah, I don't know what.
Yeah. And good evening to all.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. To. You see, we keep shooting ourselves in the legs. God has blessed us with a very good president.
Okay.
And this is one of the best administrations ever in that country's history. But we all will regret when this man time finished. Today, people regretting the missing the late Samuel Kayando. Even though they say he threw people in where he was killing people, but today they regret. Oh, if Doe was alive, our country, the value of our country is SYZ. People also regretting about the late William Naratogo. In fact, people even regretting about Charles Taylor. Can you imagine?
Wow.
So I don't know where we are, where we go, what we want. I don't know.
So
it's good to speak the truth. When somebody is wrong, say the wrong. I don't want to call it talking about if it was a state where people stand their ground. Why you call ground? Why you call grounds? When somebody wrongs is wrong. The people are taking disadvantages on this government.
When you say people, who are those people?
It's there for the people.
Yeah, hello?
If this government starts punishing people harshly, the same people will start running around and say they're killing us. So what do people want?
Let me hold on one second. Hello, caller, are you there?
When the Joshua is doing S5, not of that.
Caller, are you hearing me? The main roller scale is on. Caller. Hello, caller, are you there? Oh.
It's all about politics. So who they want now to rule that Europe? I mean, that thing doesn't take over them. That thing doesn't take over.
They're not getting out you way to rule or down to them. They're not getting out.
Hello, caller, are you there?
But what I know is
Caller, okay, then
the Democrats will prevail. This man is not stepping down, and in the next election, if he elected, he will also leave.
Okay.
He was put there by the majority of the people, by the Liberian people.
So,
he's not going to listen to a little group in the corner. Everything has been pointed towards him.
So, hello, caller.
Even the people that
okay, what I would do, I will kind of like turn him off so that he will come back to baseline. He needs to answer some questions, but I don't know why he's not hearing me. Caller, are you there? Okay, I gotta let him go. I'm getting a message here from the president of the Press Union of Liberia. I'm going to be getting him. Let me bring him, hopefully, to see whether he's available, to see whether I can call him. Pakwame.
Yes, sir.
You listened to this last caller. I guess you guys were hearing me. Everybody, I assume everybody was hearing me, but we don't allow people to make comments here and just slide away. So I really don't mean to cut him up, but I want to bring him to baseline here. To you listen to the caller, what he said, and he went out to name. Are we missing anything from him here?
You are not missing anything from that call, or that is a basic attitude and behavior of vast majorities of the Liberians. Confusion. They don't know where they are, so therefore they won't understand where they're going. So this is why the country are where they are right now. So that particular person represents many, many Liberians. Otherwise, I heard somebody from the beginning of the show that the law need to be put in place. Liberia need no new law. Liberian law was photocopied from the United States to Liberia. You just need the enforcement component. And somebody also said the election commissioners, sure, they can lay down law, but they don't have policing power. The implementations of every law is left on the shoulder of the government, the central government, because the police follow the policies of the government. So if the government is not efficient, they are not productive, they are not interesting. Therefore, the police will function based on the expectations of the government. This is what's taking place in Liberia. And this is why you see from every leader, the party leader, the political leader, like Moluba Molum, people, when they are speaking, you don't get any clear sense of what they are trying to say. So, there's a lot
Mr.
of
Kwame, let me not interrupt you yet. That's one of the highest, it's a high profile position to be a party chairman. The party looks up to you for a sense of direction. Veterans of candidate type pushing the policies of the governing type party. Is it happening or not?
It is not actually happening because when they talk, you feel the level of immaturity, the lack of sense of direction, no interest for the country, only individual interest. They drag the countries into individuality rather than broad spectrum of ideas. You don't see that from any of these people. All right, this is the time. Your man make a comment that Opons is not going to speak. Definitely he's not going to speak. It's late for him now to speak because there's a lot of event has been taking place. This president has not come out to mention anything regarding the fate of the country or the positions of the government. So that itself is stirring the confusions around the country because the absence of the president, the government, the pilots, because the president itself, the positions of the president is like a pilot position.
So is he in the enclave? Let me bring in something to here, and then you guys and Pa George can respond. I don't know whether the president is being put in a bubble or is in the enclave here. Something to.
Yes. Well, thank you for keeping me silent for a very long time, which is okay. I don't mind that. I know I expect that once I come on your show, I'm always I'm always, once I come on your show, you always try to suppress my view. I don't mind.
No, these people are on the audio version, you on the video. So you
I understand that. You can make all the excuses you want. It's not flying with me. You're here. Your job is to suppress my view, and I know that. But let me say this here very quickly to some of your callers. First of all, Dr. Weir is going nowhere. The Constitution provides for Dr. Weir to be in position for 6 years. After the 6-year term, I, Samson Soe, will be running campaign against Dr. Weir. But we will not sit here to allow people to say he must step down. What reason? What reason does he have? Because you think that he's inept? Because the Constitution does not say that if somebody is inept, according to you, then therefore the person should be getting out of position. We can't expect that. And please don't come on this kind of platform to say the man must step down. For what reason? He's doing his job? Yes. If he's not doing it correctly, let us talk about it. But the Constitution provides for 6 years. So why will you not allow the Constitution to be carried out? And then you expect people to say, yes, what you're saying, we believe what you're saying. After, who next? You call the president to step down now, then who's next? The vice president? Come on, Liberians. We can't do that.
Let me ask you, let me flip the coin. So I will go back to my guys here, which I hope you won't see this as to sanction your voice. So if anybody calls in here and calling for the president to step down, does that make the president to step down? Don't you think
No, that's it.
We're not. You are trying to legitimize their argument. Donald Trump here on day one, before he even got to the White House.
So we have the responsibility as an LPR personality. If somebody make a statement that perhaps I don't agree with, I'm here to say no, I don't agree with it. I have the right to say that, unless you want to suppress the view again.
Equally fair to say here. And you see, this is where the liberals and the conservative party don't usually agree. But you are just going, not even over the top, you are going on the top now. The man said the president should step down. As far as
I'm saying to that man, I'm not trying to shut his voice down. He has the right to do it. But I'm also saying to this man, like many other Liberians, he's not the only Liberian. You can call for the president's resignation. I say the Constitution does not allow us.
I would disagree when you
hold on 1 minute, please. The Constitution has certain provision within the Constitution. If the president is to step down, there are certain provision in the Constitution that you can apply. You can't get up out of your bed and say the man must step down because he's not doing the work. On a whose direction? Who said the man is not doing his job? According to you or who? Please, we can't accept that.
Okay, before I go on, I will also tell you in a very respectful and an honest fashion, to say that people cannot call. As long as some sort of language or profanity is not used, which is used on most other outlets, we do that now, that you know I'm not going to condone. But for a person to come here to say to the president to step down, well, that's out of their own volitions.
I agree. I'm not saying you should shut them down. That's far from it.
And don't come insert your liberal idea. Say, don't come on.
Oh, no, here we go.
Let me tell you now. LPR is a puppet
based on the Constitution. They have the right to demand the president's resignation. Right. I, as a Liberian, also have the right to point to them that we have a Constitution. That's the mandate of the Constitution for 6 years.
But don't use LPR as a backyard. Are you working in Capitol building now? Because I see Capitol building.
Mr. Soe, and this is the building that belongs to all of us. And I have this building on my background. And look, I love this flag. This is the best flag ever.
This guy is so ridiculous. Let me go to my caller then here. Okay, Pakwame, are you there?
Hello.
Look, Samson Soe is another guy here.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting liberal there in California with Nancy Pelosi. I mean, anybody can ask the president to step down. What I would not condone on this network for people to insult or use word of profanity that is uncomfortable. He knows that here. But let's come to baseline here. You were talking here. Let me bring in Pa George here. Pa George.
Hello.
Yeah. Are you in two voices? Let me see. Is that
okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
How are you?
Okay, let's see. I think let's give Lady voice here. You know, is that Koto?
No.
Okay. Who's it? 267 number 5983.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that-
This is Burr. This is Burr.
Okay, okay, boy, hold on 1 second. Boy, hold on 1 second. Since you have spoken, let me just bring the other person here. 30, is that a 304 number?
Yes.
Okay,
How
30.
you doing?
Good. I'll hear from you. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yes. My name is Farrah Horace, calling from West Virginia. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Good that you are here. How are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, let's hear
So,
from you.
yeah, I'm watching the show and I see my brother there. I know whether he's a studio guest or whatever. And he's like talking that nobody have the right to tell the president to calm down. We voted for this president. I am in tears tonight.
Why?
Liberia is bleeding. Liberia need us. Liberia is bleeding. The president sits there. He says nothing. I live watched the event that took place in Bomi County tonight. The president paying people, trucking people to rig the election. People see how they almost killed Dillon yesterday, and there's no press release from the president.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Is that a president should give a press release to that?
No, I am saying something.
Okay.
I said all the violence in the country, the president will never ever come out to say anything. He don't say nothing about it. But I saw the national security issue a press release today that Dillon should retract his statement. Indeed, Dillon is a responsible man, and he did. So if I am in support and say, let the president step down, we put the president there. We all are at Liberia. Liberia is bleeding. This man don't ever the country. Let him give our country back. Yes, we got a vice president. Yes, we have the right to tell him to step down. We can get on the street, my brother, in studio and tell him to step down. This Liberia is not for sedition. Liberia is for us all. Liberia is bleeding. Where is the
So let me ask you.
I was born.
Yeah, sis,
I'm coming. Since I was born, 1970, up to present, I never saw where Liberia have election. And they're tracking people in different countries. And police is escorting the people there.
Right.
Can you imagine? Don't you think our country is leading to a chaos? The election commission seeing all these things just right now as I speak to you. We got people registering. I got in my phone possession that one person registering at 3 different locations with the same name and whatever. And election commission sitting down there. Do you think December 8th will be free and fair? Do you think it will be fair to the other parties? It would not be fair. And nothing is being done. Nothing is being said. For all you vibrating on the phone and saying, why should people say the president step down? The president needs to step down because he's incompetent.
Yeah, but my sister, Mr. Soe, hold on 1 minute, please.
Yeah,
my sister, hold on, Mr. Soe. My sister, let me push this a little bit. I'm not saying that you shouldn't say that. You have the right to come on and make your view known to every one of us that you want the president to step down. However, I too have the right to point to you that there are certain provisions within the Constitution that requires that if you're going to have the president, if you want the president to step down, there are certain provisions in the Constitution that you have to follow. You can't just get up and say the president should step down and therefore the president should step down. You can say it, but that doesn't make it right, or that does not make it to say, yes, that's going to happen. You have to follow the Constitution because it is the Constitution that gave the president 6 years to stay in office. There's nothing in the Constitution that tells you that the president should step down because the president is not able to work or the president is not doing a good job. You vote against the president after the 6 years term. That's the point I'm making, my sister.
Okay, let me
For
go
those
back to
6
him. But
years.
yeah, let me go back. As far as I'm concerned, this gentleman who said the president should step down, I see that as an evening jawbone exercise, because any citizen can come out and say, "Oh, this president should step." If it was a lawmaker, then I would know how to go further in asking the question.
Oh, don't overlook that, brother. He doesn't have to be the lawmaker. He is a legitimate citizen of Grand Army or of Liberia. He doesn't have to be the lawmaker. People are hurt.
Yeah.
The nation is bleeding. We are all in tears. We have election just 2 months from now, December 8th. And see the things are happening in the country. See the journalists tonight in Bomi County.
Yeah, our own guy reporter here.
And all those stuff. And
Okay.
people said they're not saying nothing. And you think we're going to listen to election commission?
Okay, so before I go to the next person here, we are also in the business here making recommendation. We don't feel it is that too late. Even if it is late, our job is also to recommend. It is at the evaluations of the national government to accept that. Do you think it is that late, or can it be a recovery process? There's something needs to be done, Ty, to get us on the right footing. Do you think so?
Something can be done. I am saying right now, like if I were there, the CPP need to put her to the whole election right now, because the whole thing is fraud.
Is it the CPP? The collaboration party? They should what?
Yes,
they should boycott?
They need to withdraw all their members. Don't participate in this election. Put a halt to this election until otherwise others. The election is not fair. And it's never going to be fair. How you truck people from one country to another, and you get there, you register them and pay them $10. Security, the police escorting these people. They are untouchable. Can you imagine? It's not heavy. It's broad. We all just watch it. What happened in Bomi County? It's broad. Where is the election commission? What is she doing?
All right, and that's a valid question that we reached out to the public relations officer to also get their version. The police deputy chief for public affairs, Director Moses Carter, up to press time while we are on air. We yet to get it. I just got a text message here. The press union of Liberia is deeply involved, calling for the investigations. There are some journalists that were beaten, they were detained, but reports here the journalist was attacked by some people in bombing, and we are doing everything possible to get over the relevant authority to investigate this process. Thank you so much. Let me go to my next person for participating here. Okay, Amos George.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether you're home, because I wanted to bring you in the video here. So the liberal will say maybe we're going against it, but that's your patron, which is okay. What are you hearing? You are from Bomi County. You say you're going to be going against Monipaka Des Moines. I don't know what are the trucking. What are you hearing from your own Bon County here? Any trucking exercise ongoing as well?
I cannot authenticate that.
Okay. Somebody is listening, please. Anybody else? Anybody, if you get a monitor on, you need to. I'm getting the echo. Is that 202? Are you there? You're listening to another monitor? Please lower it. Okay, go ahead, Pa George.
Yeah, I cannot authenticate that. They're trying to talk to people, so I cannot verify anything.
No trucking going here.
The last time I said it, that the election commission must they have to come together to post up the voting process in Nigeria. Because so you know that if you live in Raw Island, the district, that district you register.
Yeah. 513 number. Please lower your monitor. If you come on the program, you're listening, you have to lower it. Other than that, we're going to be getting the feedback. Go ahead, Pa George.
I said it last time. I said the people have to come out to cut this thing off. How can you live all your life in Monrovia? You work and live in Monrovia. Then you went right there to register to vote. You could register and come back. The day you voted down and voted. That doesn't make sense. I said it last. This is why you see now people living in Monrovia. They go to Bomi, they go to Magiri. They say they go register to vote there. But you live in Monrovia. You live in a district. Why can you register there? The election commission, why they cannot make people to register and vote in that district? That will clear some of these things. They're not doing it. Secondly, I want to tell you about the statement yesterday Dylan made. It went overboard, and I'm glad that he came back today to retract some of those statements he made. But that is to tell you, when you get closer to death, that when you realize the danger and the test of your ability. This one happened yesterday. A person I say, this is why Yekekova has been going through all throughout the years in Morovia. The last one, Cummins and Yeke got a piece of it. You saw how Cummins came up. Yesterday, Dylan got a piece
but
of
you
it.
see, and then not to interrupt you, and this is where the problem is. I don't see the cohesiveness of even the very opposition, because when it happens to Yeke, there were other people that came out that Yeke was crying, baby cry, and that were not giving you attention. So this is to see that there's very opposition to they are not, I don't understand what is going on within.
So, but yeah, this is what I'm saying. And I said it before a long time. And most of it will be orchestrated by CDC.
But Joy, are you willing to come via video, because your voice, I don't know, your voice is
okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to send you the link now. Okay, let me go to 202. Let's try and make it brief. We will soon be out of here. 202 number 300. Are you there? 202 300. Are you there? 202 300.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so are you in bed and you call or what? Go ahead.
I'm right here. 202 is here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm right here.
Caller, go ahead. What's your contribution?
I'm right here.
Are you hearing what
me?
I'm hearing you. I said go ahead.
Yeah, this is Sam Abu.
Oh, Mr. Abu, go.
From Liberia.
Okay. Oh, Abu, are you?
No, I'm not in bed. I'm sitting there relaxed listening to you guys. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to start with my big brother, Samson Soe.
Okay, go ahead.
There is nothing in the Constitution that says that the president can end his term before the 6 years. It can happen. It can happen. But are you hearing me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay, go.
I just lowered my monitor, that's all.
Okay, yeah, go ahead now. Make your point, Abu.
That's a network issue. He said that there is nothing in the Constitution, but it also implies if the people can put pressure on the president, he can resign. He can seriously resign. But let's leave that one out. I think the main thing is that the president is not adding his voice to some of the cries of the people. The president is not adding his voice to the cries of the people. Many things happen in that country, and the president will not make a statement until he goes on his pulpit. That's not fair. Now, for election, when they say electoral rigging, election do not start. Hello?
Yeah. Hold on, caller. Somebody is speaking. Yeah, Abu, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
Keep repeating.
Yeah, caller, you came on the line. Please lower your monitor, please.
Cut them off.
Abu's now you 713. Lower your monitor. Go ahead, Abu.
Okay. So what is happening is that electoral rigging doesn't start from the polling and counting votes. There are many things when two people want to fight, you decide to hold one person here before they get ready for the ring. I mean, you make the person who will not fight. We saw it in 19.
Yeah, he's calling from Liberia, so the network is.
We saw it in 1997. Charles Taylor held on the country until 1 month to election. I went to Maryland to train voter registry. There was no other political party there. I went to Grand School, no other political party. Everybody knew only NPP. And they were still arresting people behind the line, and Charles Taylor did not release it until about 1 month to election day. So as a matter of fact, the people in the interior knew nobody else was casting up. So this is what you guys are trying to do, intimidate the people. Every time people go out to do their thing, they want to intimidate the people. But the problem again is,
well, he's calling from Liberia, so the network is kind of a little bit pain here this evening. Abu, are you there?
yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, I know the network is kind of like breaking in. You currently in Liberia?
Yeah, no, I'm not. you see, Alfonso, in Liberia, we have too many differences that have existed, and every time we say we are having conferences, we don't solve the problem.
Okay.
We don't solve. Yes, I'm here.
So what's the recommendation now? Is it too late to solve this problem? If it is a problem, then we have all recognized it.
Oh. Hello.
Yeah. Okay. About
somebody is still running over me.
Yeah. Abu, go ahead. There are other people here, so we'll bring them in. That's what I'm asking you. Your final comment. Is it too late to solve this problem? What's your recommendation?
The final thing is, Liberians have to be truthful to themselves.
Okay. Mr. Soe,
the problem is really difficult.
I think he's having a serious problem here.
Yeah. Okay, I will try to reposition a call back because the line is breaking here. Let me go to the other folks here so they
Mr. Soe, before you do that, before you pivot to the other group, Mr. Soe, before you pivot.
13 number, are you there?
Mr. Soe, before you pivot, can I make a point clear, please?
Okay, go ahead. What's your contribution?
I just want to say to the president of Liberia, he has taken Liberia to be for the CDC and only the CDC, and that's not right, because so many things going on in that country, and he can't speak. You know, Liberia, George Weah was elected as president of the Republic of Liberia, not for the CDC. So as a president, he's supposed to be playing the same model role, but he's not doing it. He has divided the country to the extent until everybody now pushing his head. And that's the serious that we have to address, and he has to take the lead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so 713 number, are you there? Yeah, 713, go ahead quickly.
Hey, this is Nankemo. I'm calling from Houston, Texas. Mr. Zean Soe is listening.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to my brother Zean Soe. The last podcast he had.
Put it like on.
His brother rolled in the revolution. I want to tell you, you opened my eyes. In fact, I watched the video. I was one of those individuals that had so much respect and regard to President Fobo in Liberian history. But then when I watched that video, I had a different view on that, you know, and I saw that there were a lot of issues that Liberian people have not really come to understand. The issue about discrimination and issue about nepotism, we are not understand that yet. And justice and inequality and salary, this when it comes to salary in government position, people making higher money than people who really working. But it's not really my point. I just want to give a compliment to Mr. Soe if you're listening.
Yeah, you're listening. Go ahead. I want to wrap up now, sir.
The reason I call for, I just want to say that Liberia right now, President Weah, when I was in Liberia, I was one of your supporters. When it comes to 2005 election, I campaigned for you, I voted for you. But the way I see things right now in Liberia, if you are what we thought you were at that time to be the
Did you do all of your intelligence before campaigning, before doing all of what you did?
Yes. I mean 2005, I was for George Weah. I mean, like, I never wanted Ellen Johnson to be president. I never wanted her because my view
Is he a
was,
different George Weah than what you knew 2005 now, or what?
Yeah, George Weah. It's not the George Weah I knew in 2005. I mean, like, George Weah was somebody that we all campaigned that we wanted the World Crown Court to come in at the year.
Do you know what is responsible for that?
Well, unless George Weah can come up and tell us because he don't regularly address us. You go to your church and say things that he don't address us. So I don't know whether George Weah really want World Crown Court or not. You tell me now, Mr. Zoo. You tell me. Hello?
Yeah, listen, go ahead.
Yeah, you tell me now because the Honorable President Rabi, Dr. Emmanuel Weah, he don't regularly address us. He always go to the church to say things. So how can I come on and say that he really wants this? Somebody wanted somebody who was absent from bloodshed.
Okay.
And
so quickly here.
Today, quickly, what I'm saying is that Liberia that living in my voice is that some of us, for me, I live in Ghana before out of everything camp. There were people who live in Liberia on the same camp, what they call an RDP, temporary display. If you go out to be throwing on political opponents, then you should ask yourself question. Have you learned a lesson from what we went through?
Okay.
You should ask yourself that kind of question. So, lastly, I want to say that all Liberia outside or inside Liberia, your vote is your power. If you are happy with what's happening in Liberia today, you can vote for them. For me, I ain't in the US. The US say we're pushing Kabuya. No power is but in Liberia pushing things that I'm pushing here. I will not even come to the US. I'll be in Liberia.
Okay.
Think about that.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Think about that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to be having Bert. Please make it brief and I go to Pakwami before I go to my guys on the Vibe video to wrap it up. Bert, go ahead quickly. What's your next point?
Yeah, thank you. Let me speak directly to my liberal brothers. I said the president should resign. Let me give you 4 reasons why a leader of the country should resign. Number 1. Number 2, we had a president that borrowed on behalf of the Liberian people $30 million. And let me ask my liberal brother, have you or have any of your family, have you or any of your family have received a single cup of rice to eat in Grand Judah County to my people? I'm married in Grand Judah. So a member of you, have our people ever received 1 cup of rice?
Is that why you want to? Wait a minute. When you say, what are you talking about? 1 cup of rice or what?
1 cup of rice out of that $30 million that was for the stimulus package for the Liberian people. For the president to say he's giving a stimulus package for our people who are hungry.
Yeah, so my question, hold on. I see some of your reasons. I try to look at why you say quietness that the president should resign. So are you saying if the people of Grand Judah ate that rice, then you will not tell him to resign?
No. What I'm saying, I gave him the liberal man. You understand the parable that I gave him about eating rice with okra. Whatsoever that left in our okra or with among our okra, you swallow it becomes yours. That's a parable, and that's where I'm coming from. 3, have you seen a president minister of finance in any country to go out there and dig money to aid people, to aid medicine, to go and campaign and the government? That's number 3. Number 4 reason, our liberal brother. Have you seen a country president for women to come out to disgrace the office of the president and call the president names? This is a disgrace, my liberal brother.
You were here during the last election.
that?
Hold on. We gotta be careful as we provide reasons for which president should resign. You were here during the presidential something here, and Donald Trump, even up to this time here, is that enough reason for people to say the president should resign? I know there are moral issues.
President then at that time.
There are moral issues. I consider that.
Women accused. I was here. I voted for Hillary Clinton. Women accused Donald Trump of having sexual relations with them. But since Donald Trump, I'm talking about our country, Liberia, for a woman or women to come and disgrace our president.
I haven't seen. Look, guys, let's be careful here. Let's.
Because the president is discussing the integrity of Liberia and Liberians around the world. This is the reason why I said this president should resign. Because how our president will go to African or nations conference, and how will he present himself? If the international press asks him, how will he answer it?
Okay, let me.
Little kids from Nigeria, communists that mocking our president. This is what hurts me, and I'm saying the president should resign.
Okay.
He has disgraced the higher office of our country. He should
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Let me go to something we gotta be wrapping it up. Let me go to Pakwame. Like he made his final argument. He listened to a lot of things, and then three of us, we are in a Steve Cage march now. It's good that we sandwich you. My man from Atlanta on the other side. I'm on the other end here now. So, Mr. Kwame.
Yes, sir.
I find a little bit troubling in terms of how some people and how some of the talking points come true. But you know, it's like you have a child, right? And this child is noted in a house of hands going faster. We can make something. You listen to the last analysis here, reasons why the president should resign.
Yeah, thank you very much. All in all, good show. I like your show. It's balanced. It allows view of other people's, everybody to be heard. The reason given for the resignations of president is not sufficient. The president resignation, I heard from the other quarter that constitution, based on the constitution, you cannot call president to resign. That itself is not, I cannot say, I don't want to say wrong, but based on the inalienable right is a God-given right to an individual. And the constitutional right is based on the individual right, inalienable right. Mm-hmm. Every constitution supports an inalienable right. So that itself has the right to call the president to resign if they know that the president's basic functions is not being carried on by the president. That's one of the reasons that president can be called. I know there's a process through the legislatures, but again, when there's a popular demand and popular revolt, people itself, they're above the constitution. People don't know these things. Okay. They always put constitutions ahead, but people should be put ahead of the constitution. If there's a popular demand and popular revoke based on the number of people percentage, so therefore there is no time requirement here. President have to go. So, for example, in 1980 coup, it was a coup d'etat under the Liberian Constitution or in the Liberian Constitution. Every sabotage of government, including coup d'etat, is punishable by death. But it was the majorities of the people that revolt against the government based on certain discrimination or discriminatory practices. So that itself is equivalent to democracy. It was accepted worldwide. So people should understand this thing. And another young man called for war crime. War crime itself is misused in Liberia. It's one of the things that people talk about. They don't know the definitions of it. If you really want to have the junior war crimes in Liberia, should not start from 1970. It should start from way in 1909, something like that. All right, Firestone all should be included. Firestone purchased 1 million acres of land in Liberia at the rate of 90 cents, at the detriment of the ignorance of the people of Liberia. So therefore, plunge the entire nation revenue into destitution. That itself is a war crime. Okay, it was a war crime punishable by starvation and destitution. So employers knew that that was not the value of the land, but yet they went ahead and did it. And the government that was in charge also need to be held accountable. So there's a lot of things. It's very, very complex, but we don't want to go into all of that tonight. So Liberia has a right because this government has a lot of missed priority. For example, when the government came to being, when they came to power, in the midst of economic, how can I say, it does not exist at the time, a difficult hardship. They prioritize an individual constructions rather than the revamp of the healthcare system or the road network or the educational system or the reform of the government or the limitations of the salary cap on the various positions in the government. So the Liberian money was used to construct individual areas that have no impact to the society and to the people of that nation. That itself is a problem. So Liberian people have the right. The question here, are they in majority? If they are in majority, yes, they have the right to call their government to resign, like what happened to Chatelain. He was elected, but he failed to carry on his basic functions, day-to-day activity, create stability and hope for his people, create job opportunity for Liberians to have access to food, to be able to provide food for their family, to be able to sell the affair of their family. So let's do those things. So definitely the regional, the sub-region came together with the crowd of the ordinary Liberian to ask him to go. So I think I've seen the same scenario in the case of George Weah. I have not seen any good thing coming out of George Weah government, even though people say he's working or he's doing something. But actually, I don't see anything that impacting the life of Liberia or the systems in Liberia. I'm not seeing it right now, my brother. I can tell you that.
Is that, with your experience here, before I go to my guys here, is there something specific that is responsible for which we don't understand and that we are out of the bedroll, boys here? Are there people responsible, but he's a grown-up guy? He should be able to make informed decisions about himself. But are there other factors that we should take into consideration?
Yeah, there is many factors that need to be taken into consideration. Every country that was, how you call it, that there was some level of slavery mentality governing the government or controlling the people, also has certain level of lack of understanding. Places like Zimbabwe, South Africa, if you take white folks from those countries will not exist. You saw the land reform by Mugabe, possibly grabbing land from the white folks and give it to the black folks. They end up taking this same land and sell it back to the white owner. And none of those lands today are well maintained by the black owner that it was given to. South Africa the same, Zambia the same. Many of these countries that white, the slavery mentality took very long. Liberia is non-exception. It was not a white, but it was a white, I call it white tree of black people that got to that country with the same white mentality, slavery, and they practice the same thing. So they destroy the fabric and the thinking abilities of the native Liberian. So if you want Liberians to excel, to be able to come out of the shell that they are in right now, you have to identify certain things and be able to teach certain courses in the various high schools and colleges level to contractize the minds of the average Liberian so they can regain their knowledge. Once they gain the knowledge, they will know what it's coming from. Once you know where you're coming from, definitely you will know where you're going. So that is the progress in Liberia right now.
Okay. Give your big takeaway here before I go to my guys here. We're going to be wrapping up here. Overall, we have critiqued, some have pointed out the areas where we're falling short as a country, as a nation, as a leader. What can we do now to remedy the problem?
To remedy the problem, actually, I don't have the solution. This includes all Liberian conference. Like all Liberian conference need to be held. But to tell you the truth, even with all of the misfortunes of Mr. Weir, I have not seen anybody in the opposition that can step out the pace to fill in the gap to the satisfactory level. I've not seen.
Not anyone, including Joseph Newman Boyka, who once served as the former vice president. Not anyone. Is he inclusive?
Yes. Let me show you one of my simple experience or theory to mention things. Joseph Boyka been in the government for 40-some more years plus, 46 years to be exact. Tell me, there was innumerable problems in Liberia within this period. Give me one article in Liberia, electronic paper media, or any other outlet where there is oppositions or statement made by Joseph Nima Boyka against or for any of these innumerable problems. Simply because it does not exist in his mind. What is not in your mind will not come to your, will not be part of your program. That's a simple theory. It's not there. So therefore, he will not think about it. No one raised above your own thought. So if you put Joseph Boyka there, you are putting a coma person into presidency. Liberia, take that from me, write my name. It's not going to go anywhere. Yes.
So it seems to me his assertion that he was a parked car in a garage is not, you don't buy into that.
Not only parked car, a car with probably a damaged transmissions or maybe broken tail light or not sure what the car needs to do. So it's been parked for a very long time. That itself is a problem. But yet again, you realize that the transmission is not good.
Okay.
You see?
Okay, Kwame, thank you so much for your expertise, and we're looking forward to having you here. We're going to be having a lot of these discussions yet, and we are looking for, hopefully, the government, the NEC will respond, even the police chief, with the alleged report that government patrol car escorted those people. Thank you so much, and good to hear from you.
Thank you too.
All right.
You too.
Okay. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap it up for the rest of the evening. The Liberal Progressive, Pa George.
Yes. Oh, Lord.
Mr. Soe. Yeah, Pa George, just 1 minute, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
On this type of gathering, you have some intellectual that usually join these forums and listening all over Liberia and other places. So when we come out to make some pronouncement, we're not doing those in isolation. We consider what we're saying to be a serious issue. And so my comment here tonight, I'm not resisting or I'm not against Liberians calling for the resignation of their president. That's far from it. The Liberians have the right to do so. But what I'm saying and what have I suggested is that there are constitutional provisions that if you're serious to do that, you first of all have to have people who, like-minded people, will have to go through a provision that is in the Constitution. And then once that is done, then the president resignation issue can be discussed. Now, let me just read something for you here very quickly. And I know people are listening. From the Constitution, I'm not one of those who I'm not here to support the president, and I'm just saying based on the Constitution. And as a liberal progressive who promote the Constitution, because any one of you that watching me can sit in our office tomorrow and you want the Constitution to guide what you're doing, and you want the Constitution to protect you as the president of the Republic of Liberia and as an individual as well. Now, let me tell you this. This is what Article 1 of the Constitution says. Let's read that for you. All power is inherent in the people. All free governments are instituted by their authority and for their benefit, and they have the right to alter and reform the scene when their safety, listen that again, when the people, they said people, even though they say it, but that's what it's, when their safety and happiness so required. That means if the people feel that their safety and the happiness is required, they can come out with that kind of information that we want the president to resign, or whoever is in government is not doing us a favor. You can do that. However, in order to ensure democratic government which respond to the wishes of the governed, the people shall have the right at such period and in such manner as provided for under the Constitution to cause the public servant to leave office. Do you get that? Let me read that little part again. The people have the right at such period and in such manner, if they want the resignation of the president, but it must be done provided for under the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. That, my brothers and sisters, is my argument. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to say, but if you're going to do that, first of all, you can't just come on public radio and say, I want a president. Then if you want people to take you serious, you're going to have to organize yourself, because that's what the Constitution wants you to do. And somebody who cares for the country, you have the right to demand the president's resignation, but it must be done under the Constitution, provided for. There are certain provisions. And that has been my argument all night. As a liberal progressive, I don't want those of you that follow my show and like me as a liberal, I don't want you to be disappointed, because I'm not suggesting that the president cannot be asked to resign. The president can resign. However, we must do so with the understanding of the Constitution. Thank you, Mr. Soe.
This is insane.
He just modified the whole thing here. He just modified your statement. We can replay that statement. That is the statement you should have uttered. That was the statement you should have told the people. That was you should have quoted before. What you said, that you said nobody has the right to ask the president to resign. Those are exactly what you labor. Mr. Soe,
here we go. They're both conservative now. They're going to take my word and pass to cut it in pieces. That's what the liberal will look back. But I'm not prepared to kowtow to both of you. That's not happening. The liberal progressive can take its own. I can take both of you, the conservative, and you guys gonna run away from me, because you guys you have no standing in our community. As a conservative, you have no standing in our community, because our community is for the liberals.
Can I talk, Napa George?
Yeah.
This guy is in a cage right now. What I see here, he is greatly thirsty and dying. His throat is already dry. And he tries to, these are all statements of political correctness. That's why Mr. Soe is driving in. Typical example, he's so worried to the extent he's behaving like a Donald Trump right now, that he's took this viral to be like nothing, a Chinese viral and nothing. And Bob Woodward of the Washington Post unearthed him completely. So the liberal now is worrying that he doesn't want his base to be disappointed in. That is so ridiculous on your part, Samson Soe. That was your statement. You came here and said no one should say. Now you are gone to the Constitution. Unfortunately, the other lady, what I was trying to drive in, and I made a statement here. I said for that individual, it's like a jawbone exercise to me. Her lawmaker and a member of the parliament has come out to make that statement. I will know exactly the sort of follow-up question, because I know exactly what the Constitution says when it comes to calling on the president or sitting president to resign. It's a long ride. It's not an overnight thing. But sympathize, I don't want to judge him by his statement, whether he's opposition, but ordinary Liberian, anybody can come and say something against their president, whether they elected or not, whether they voted for or not, as long as it's not an insult. But for somebody to come up here to say he can resign, and then something to burst into flame, like somebody is pulling blood out of him to say you don't have the right, that is ridiculous, liberal.
His friend will call him tomorrow, because I know his friend watching him tonight. I know what he meant from Texas or where. Will call him tomorrow, but he can't help him.
But you didn't see the friend,
the gentleman that told you to
listen to him.
I don't kowtow to you, or you to join you. There are people that are liberal that are counting on my view, and I'm standing my ground. I'm not gonna let you two try to buffoon me all over this place and try to say you're gonna do this. No, it's not happening. I'm a liberal, and people are counting on my view, and I'm standing my ground to say I don't want my brother.
Let me tell you now, you are standing on a sinking ground. All right? Let me just tell you now, you are standing on a sinking ground because you are so much in desperation, worrying what your base will say. It reminds me of the Donald Trump going to maybe Wisconsin or one of these swing states and then telling people, I saw the other guy, he said that the virus is a fake thing. It's not a virus. That's why you're trying, that's the sort of soundbite you are trying to produce here tonight. Every Liberian has the right, listen, every Liberian has the right as long, and that's the policy of this network, as long as they have not come out here to use profanity to insult the president, that I will not condone, that we will not condone. But somebody who was calling because of a prevailing situation and say the president should resign, is that something you think I want to worry about?
Mr. So, look, this is an intellectual platform. And both of you know
that's a freedom of speech.
Yes, both of you. I know the speech that I'm making is this. So both of you conservative, perhaps you don't get it.
There's nothing to do with conservative.
Look at things from a broad perspective. Now, you can't come on like on an intellectual platform and say, "Oh, the sky is red." You can't just make a pronouncement because you think you have the right.
Make the sky red.
You must make the pronouncement based on responsibility. That's
so if I were to come out here today and ask something to resign, would that make you to resign?
Mr. So, then your statement is not being responsible. Me as a liberal, it is my job to say, look, if you want to be taken seriously, make some statement that will be responsible. You can't just come out and say, I don't want the president, he must resign.
You were definitive to say, you were even argued that he shouldn't even say it. That's why we are holding you, and you don't want to admit to that.
Okay, look, I can eat crow anytime. If I have said something,
are you willing to apologize?
Mr. So, hold on. If I have said something in that effect by denying people the right to make their point, then I apologize because that's not my liberal view. If I have tonight to say people do not have the right to make their point, then I apologize because that's not what a liberal does. But here is what I'm saying: if you want to come out to make statement, public statement, they must be responsible. That's what I'm saying.
Look, you are acting like Dr. Abbas Bonus of ECOWAS. When Samuel Doe was captured at the port, ECOWAS former Secretary General Abbas Bono spoke with BBC to Robin White, and when they asked him to Mr. Secretary General, is that part of ECOWAS plan? And Abbas Bono came out to say yes, that was part of ECOWAS plan. The next day, when they asked him, what did he say? He said that was a slip of tongue. But now you are caved into that. I'm happy that you have apologized to my audience and we can move ahead. Now you put a cord around your own neck and you have hung yourself. I did not pull the cord. Pajoy did not pull the cord. You pull your own cord and you are losing it. We are good now.
No, we're not. And this is me. This is what it means by liberal progressive being responsible. If you say something that perhaps it is not intended as a human being, be truthful to yourself. And if I come here publicly to say I apologize, if my statement was taken out of context, and let's put it that way, if my statement was taken out of context, that wasn't my intent. As a liberal, I allow people to express their view freely. All I'm saying, and all I'm continuing to say, is that you must do so with a responsibility. You can't just come out here in public, in these kinds of forum, intellectual forum, people listening to you all over the world, and then you say, I want the president to resign.
They said it with no respect. They said it with no disrespect.
Even if I say the president should resign, does that give a legitimate argument that the president will resign? Come on.
Mr. So, if we're here in a public forum, having an intellectual discussion,
it doesn't matter.
You're going to come and make a statement that does not support anything else. It is my duty as a responsible person and as a responsible liberal to tell you your statement is baseless. And if you're going to make that statement, you must support it with some sort of a supporting evidence. You can't just come out and make these kinds of ridiculous statements and think that we're going to let you go. No, you must do so for responsibility.
Okay, let's move ahead. I think the liberal already conceded, so it's no big deal. You want to take a glass of water, liberal?
Mr. Soe, like I said, I can deal with both of you, the conservative, without me bounding. I'm not even thinking about drinking. I can take on both of you. You bring on any conservative, you got stand no chance with me because the liberals stand on truth. The liberal, we don't go and take. We're in a room gathering, we climb the ladder, and then we say we take the ladder up. That's what conservative will do to you. They don't care for people feeling. They don't care for anybody else except for themselves. The liberal, we carry one another. That's all we do.
All right. Just to let you know, I'm taking my drink, okay?
Mr. Soe, you're not going to entice me to cajole me to say I'm joining you. No way. I'm a liberal and I'm remain liberal.
Okay, time has caught up with us here. Pa George, on a serious note, what is unfolding in Liberia is very serious. We will try as much as possible to get the government versions of all of the allegations and all of what is coming out. We like to speak with authorities. We try contacting Mr. Moses Carter, who is the Deputy Police Chief for Public Affairs, Director Heron Flomot, the Public Relations Officer at the National Elections Commission, to no avail. I just got a message from President Charles Coffey of the PUL that they're going to be making a 4-month complaint for the investigations. How dangerous is this situation? Are we going to see it to go more explosive, or will this situation be put under control?
Mr. Soe, I have repeated this thing before, and I continue to say it. The election of President Weah will be marked by violence and will be mostly instigated by the government. Today, people send me 3 different ID cards. 3 different ID cards. Voter ID cards. Today, DJ Blue, who is running as independent, complained about the fraud. Today, our Edwin Snow was on radio again. The same fraud that people have been trying to bomb and being paid $10 by government. And Mr. Dillon made the same assertion. What the election commission, this is why I said from the beginning, I said I have problems with the election commission. These people, according to the report from bombing yesterday, officers of the election commission were registering people in the night in bombing. After they had told the people to go, that the camera battery were there. And the primary chief and other people went there to raise alarm. And they saw the people from net registering people. The question now, so how can the election be will it be valid? What I'm saying is that I don't know.
Okay, quickly here, because I'm out of time here. Yeah. We all have interest in this here, but the main actors are those stakeholders, the political parties, civil society here. There are other people saying, "Oh, well, let the opposition get out of the race because the process is already to race." If you were advising the collaborative party here as a chief strategy, what could be a possible recommendation that you could put forward?
So first thing, I would ask them to have an audience with the National Election Commission and with the government of Liberia to give them guarantee that the election is going to be free and fair. That is the first route. That is the first route before even talking about boycotting any election. But you have to approach them to see what stand they're going to take with all the complaints that are coming in. Mm-hmm. They are not becoming part of the whole thing. They're not referee again. They are becoming participant again. So you have to approach them and approach the government, because at the end of the day, it's the government that have the power to muster security.
Okay, so
you have to approach from no points.
Okay, Mr. Soe.
Yes.
Let me bring you here. This is a consequential one here. I listened to Senator Darius Dillon, Sano Johnson, all of these people. They also in government in a different context with the opposition, but they also have the authority, and the government should be the one to provide security for its people. But there's an apprehension here now that citizens or some of the players are afraid that justice of they do not even trust the security apparatus. In this case here, they are in the middle of the cycle. What can they do now?
Well, Mr. Soe, this is a very delicate issue here facing us as Liberians. We have to be very careful. On one hand, from my perspective, the government have failed to provide leadership in this instance. However, we also as Liberians should be vigilant, to be able to look out for one another. For example, even as people in bombing, they're going to resist people trucking people in their county. That's something all of us the voice violent. I don't want violence in it, but these people should be able to stand up and say enough is enough. Another thing, I think the president and the CDC-led government, they should take the lead on this, because they got the most to lose, to be honest with you. Because if this government fails to implement, to put in place specific policy that will safeguard the voting process, 2013 is coming, and that's a very major one. If you cannot be trusted at this time to carry out a senatorial election, how you think the Liberian will be willing to trust you to carry out a presidential election in which you will be a participant? These are things that the CDC-led government should be thinking about and try to stop this thing, get involved to make sure these things stop immediately.
So there's $1 million question here. Taxpayer, our money directly, indirectly, to the remittances that we send all help to sustain the government. And there is an institution, autonomous agency of institutions in government that supervises the election. That's the Election Commission. What should be their role? This process is under their direct supervision. What should the opposition stakeholders, what can they do now to engage the Election Commission? Is it too late?
Well, for me, to be honest with you, yes, because the Election Commission is supposed to be an entity, an institution, but it's not built on foundation, stronger foundation. The Election Commission, consider this. You know what a safety is?
The commission
to save palm butter. The thing is leaking. The people have no character. So, the entire process has no character.
So hold on one second. Are you saying the commission has been influenced, Pa George? Do you think the commission has been influenced?
But the labor, the last and the labor, he was seeing that those people were competent people. This labor was telling me that those people were competent people. Now he coming back and say,
George, this is what we do. We give reference, we give deference to people. We give them the opportunity to fail. And from my perspective, when I made that statement, I was asking all Liberians to have trust in this institution, to see what they can do. But they have proven themselves that they are incapable. So I can no longer defend them, Mr. George. I want to be truthful.
So now, wait a minute. I'm going to incite myself into this whole thing here. You are opening another Pandora box that we are about to go to bed. So you deceived the Liberian people, correct?
Excuse me?
You didn't hear my question?
No, I didn't.
You came here, Pa George confronted you here, and you start explaining all sort of chicken change here. So I'm asking whether you deceived the Liberian people on what basis.
You see, this is what you guys do. There's no way you're going to get me down. No way. Now, let's be realistic here. When I made a statement supporting the Election Commission at the time, I said to many Liberians, let's give these people latitude. Let's see how far they're going to go. Now they have proven themselves.
What were the factors?
They are proving themselves on not carrying out the electoral process. Therefore, I am no longer in a position to support them. It's called evolving. Which that's the language both of you conservatives don't understand. It's called evolving.
But you see, Mr. So here's my take here, because when these people were nominated, I had some reservation about them because they're close proximity and they're close link to that of the governing body. And that's the point I was coming from. And exactly what I was saying, it playing out today. Because the Election Commission supposed to set all the guidelines, but they're sitting down and see all the violence in every pocket of Morovia, outside. Everything centers around the Election Commission. They had not been able to come up with one press release, or even to call the parties together and say, hey, you people got to tune this down. This is what we're doing. These are the guidelines we want you people to work with. Nothing. And I'm seeing what I see going here now, what the Election Commission needs to do
is to grab the bull by the horn. But I don't know whether they're getting message from somewhere or from the higher up.
So
but
it's quite interesting here. Before we wrap up here, something, and what I still yet to know, and I hope some of these all of the stakeholders will confirm this, because prior to the cleaning up of the voter roll, I'm wondering, that's what I want to talk to NEC, public relation officers, and even some of these political actors. But as you know, they always have their own will, which network to go to, because they are always trying to avoid answering the tough question. I'm wondering whether there was some sort of meeting held by this group with the NEC, and that in terms of their representation, what could be their role in this process. Do you know, Liberal?
Well, not quite, but this is what I suspect. As a liberal, and once again, I'm going to make this comment, and perhaps a week or so from now, my judge is going to come back. What's the point?
Another controversial statement coming out of you.
No, Mr. Soe, you don't try to hijack my conversation, please. The point that I'm trying to make here, Mr. Soe, is this. Now, what I suspect will happen is that the opposition, hopefully, will be willing to build another institution, will take these people, if this thing doesn't go the way they're supposed to go, fairly, the voice of violence, but take the election commission, take them to court, and let the court come in and tell these people that they are not running this thing correctly. That's how you build an institution. And this is how the Republic of Liberia is going to be built. You cannot take violence to build a country. We tried that. We were not successful. You can't bring violence into this thing. Let's utilize the court system if we feel that we're being somehow wrong by this election commissioner, which I don't trust anymore. But my next move is to advise Liberians to say, use the court system and see how far we go with that.
Let me just say that, let me just inject something. And I might be wrong. The We Are Code will not do anything.
Please, hold
on. The We Are Code will not do anything, because Kabina Jene, the incident with the last election, that was the reason they moved Kabina Jene, because they say why he accepted that appeal to hear that hearing. So based upon that, they removed Kabina Jene from the Supreme Court. So that was a clear message.
It's a pure speculation. Pure speculation.
It was in the document.
I hate to tell you this.
It was in the impeachment.
You cannot. If you truly want to build Liberia, you can't wrap the court system around Dr. Weir. No, we have to try to separate them. Let's give these people the opportunity to fail, just like the election commission.
The removal of a social justice. They said, I can't wrap it around him. He instigated.
What I'm asking you to do is, we have 3 branches of government, and you cannot come here publicly and say that another branch of government is being dominated by the executive. We might say so, but in real life, I find that hard to believe. Let us give these people the opportunity to show themselves. Let's help to build this country, not by speculation and time.
We are helping this, but they are not helping the system.
So,
we try to help this people, but they are not helping the system.
Pa Josh.
Yeah.
It seems you have apprehensions about the court system in Liberia, correct?
Oh, 100% apprehension.
But the court system was tried, and Honorable Koluba succeeded.
Oh.
How can you reconcile that?
That is the lower court, and that's the lower court that did that.
The lower court
but
is
on
the Supreme Court of the Republic of
Liberia. Here's the thing here. When the Supreme Court, a social judge, according to the law, decision that he makes in chamber should not be used against him. He should not be held liable for those decisions while in chamber. And the government went after the social justice because of the decision he made while he was in chamber. And they used that to impeach him. So what is the message? Yeah, someone will go to the lower court and win 1 or 2 cases, fine. But the message is sent there.
Quickly here, I've said it over and over, and I'm going to repeat it again here. I'm not seeing the cohesiveness that much on the part of the opposition. With this other event, would it unify them to be more or less I formed that sort of union to one voice, and we saw what happened in Nima the other day, the issue with Koluba, that people did not address him since he's backing off and all of that. ASF, the opposition too, is they also that they are disorganized. Let's admit that, because they don't speak with one voice. They are not consistent. You have multiple people, even though they say they are collaboration, but when there's an issue, they want to say, oh, I'm not going to meld in the domestic politics, that they own a business here. But they also fail to realize that they have come together to solidify their position, to take on one goal. With this incident here, will it be a lesson learned, or will we come back again to have this sort of same talking point? Something?
Well, Mr. Soe, I hate to disabuse you on this, but I will do so, please. I believe strongly. Excuse me?
Go ahead.
Okay. I will suggest to you that most likely we will be back here again discussing these things, because why I do believe that the institution building process in Liberia must continue. However, as far as I'm concerned, since 1980 up to this point, Liberia is in a transitional stage, because we're waiting for the young people to grab this country and take the leadership of this country and help us all. Now, having said that, Mr. Soe, I would think that you have people.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. I would say you have people in Liberia who have Liberia at heart. I'm not one of those who are so convinced that these people are not able to do what Liberia is functioning. However, I will pray and hope that Liberia leaders themselves will see that this country needs help, and they need help now.
But Josh, your final word?
Yeah, although let me say this. I think I heard Dylan today say that the political leader will be making a statement on this whole development, what is developing. But I want to say this too. I want to say to the Liberian people, just take it very seriously. And I always say, it just takes 4 hours. Like, for the president, we are listening. Like there's a vacuum in Liberia. There's a leadership vacuum right now in Liberia. And I want the president to step up.
All right, folks. That does it this evening here. To all our viewers and all learners, those are calling your tweets, whatever comments, we want to thank you so much for joining us here this evening. As usual, the Liberal Progressive from Sacramento, California, Samson Branto, and LPR senior contributor from Atlanta City, Mr. Amos George. It's good having you here, and all of our callers, Pakwame. And those of you following us online, will keep following this development story. Our mayor in Bomi County, Roberts, will say thank you so much. We're hoping to hear from the police authority, the government of Liberia, the National Election Commission as well. Invitation is out there to Director Tahiran Flomo, and that was Police Public Affairs Director Moses Carter to speak on this issue. Well, folks, I hate to do this, but I want to thank you so much for being part of this program. Deliberate, thank you so much for coming in. And I'm going to be having you on tomorrow. What are you talking about tomorrow?
No, you're on tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. You're on my timeline. So you're on tomorrow.
All right. I'm going to give you a socado and do whatever thing you want to do. Chew my bone tomorrow. I will not be available. Have party with my name tomorrow. Whatever you want to do, just go ahead and do it with me.
I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to have fun with it. The fact that you're not going to be here to defend yourself, I'm going to have fun with it.
All right. That I can tell you, I'm going to have folks here who are going to proxy my affair to speak on behalf of me. And I'm going to be monitoring. If I pick up, be a man, be brave enough and pick up my call. Let me speak. Let me get my side of the story.
I would try my best.
There you see. There you go. He would try his best. Okay. Well, folks, thank you so much. And I'm Alphonso Zean Soe.
Hallelujah. Give him the highest praise.
This song is by our Liberian artist, Joseph Bass. It's in the West African state of Liberia. I love this song so much. Higher praise in times of good and bad times. We must give higher praise. I think it is God's divine intervention now. This is not a man-made something. God in divine intervention prayer. That's what we must be calling for.
Hallelujah to my Father. Hallelujah to my Jesus. I bow before the throne.
Until then, same time, same stations. I'm Alphonso Zean Soe from the New England Bureau of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. They're going to be back here coming Thursday with all things considered. I will be off tomorrow. That's what I stepped in today for the Liberal Progressive. I want to thank you so much for being part of today's program. Please let us keep praying for our country. What is unfolding, it is quite alarming. We must keep praying. We shouldn't lose hope. And that's why just about say we're giving the higher praise. So, well, folks, that does it this evening. Thank you so much. And let's keep monitoring. Let's do away with the divisive policies, politics. Let's put the interests of our country first, and all else shall follow. These politicians, I've said it from over and over, they are not trusted. We should not trust them. They are all in position, opposition, outside position, all of them. They are saying that I want to get there tomorrow. They will do the same old thing. We have seen this. We have gone down this road. CDC came as a change agency where we are. And this is why the opposition as well, they must be held accountable of every word, every step they make. Being an opposition does not give you the pass that you must have an easy pass, and you should not answer tough questions as well. These people are seeking for state power, and we must ask all of them tough questions. Until then, I'm Zean Soe of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. This is your informative news magazine, The Forum. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.